Hello, everybody. It's time for really getting onto the final legs of the grand finals. As I didn't mute myself here. So yeah, it's about time. Berthags versus Mix90, semifinals of Division 1. The finalist of last season here on the right side versus Berthags, the dark horse of this tournament, making it all the way up here to the semifinals. And like, who do you think is the favorite here in your head, Chloride?
I mean, I gotta say, obviously, Mix90. Mix90, long-standing, I believe, long-standing Division One player, repeatedly has been seen challenging top players throughout the short esports history of WARNO. And even though Berthags is a top player, I think I've beaten Berthags at some point, so that really pulls down my estimation of his gameplay. But I'm really happy to see that we have players who are kind of rising the ranks, bettering their gameplay, and getting at the level that people like Mix90, people like ProComi, people like T-Man have to start taking them seriously. And I think this will be a series which Berthags will have a chance to define themselves.
Yeah, the way the path they got here was both with a close quarterfinals, a wooden box being beaten by Mix90 and Berthags beaten Icarus, both with a 2-1 score. Both also with a strong group stage showing. Berthags actually beating Yuki there, who was playing in the other semifinal, who did beat Team 2-2-0. So really strong show there as well. Mix90 here going ahead of Forward and Puri Tanner. So yeah, strong show there as well. And we will see how this all goes. The price pool by now, $321, guys. Thanks a lot for getting us here. Maybe we can reach a bit higher levels even now. And yeah, with that said, let's have a look into the action itself. Berthags on the left side with 27th, Mix90 on the right side with 79th, as we have a lot of NATO bans. 3rd US, 8th US, 1st UK, and 2nd UK being banned on this map.
Yeah, this the dragons, I believe, are just really powerful on this map. The engagement ranges are not necessarily the maximums of 2000, 2400, 2600. The shorter engagement ranges, the large amount of short defensible positions divided by a couple of thousand meters, maybe 1000 meters. I think this gives really good positions for dragon infantry and US infantry in general. And the I believe I was just looking at the bands. I believe there was some British bands there as
Yeah,
well,
1st and
and
2nd UK, which is
yeah,
interesting, especially the 1st UK one. If you look at T-Man's latest tier list, where he put them in C tier, though the air spam is really dangerous, and I think Mix90 just really dislikes them. He is the one who banned the 2 British, both like banned the 2 Americans, and then yeah, 79 was the first pick division here by Mix90, and then Berthags picked 27th as the counter pick here, which is an interesting one. Like, it's 2 divisions that have a lot of similarities. Some people say the Soviet divisions are too close to each other. I think they are still quite unique, though. Like, they have still enough interesting things and differentiators to go on. But yeah, they both have T80 BVs, they both have BMP2s, but the one has the better T80s, the other one has the BMP3s. So that will be quite interesting.
yeah. The Soviet divisions are different in many ways that are not immediately obvious to people. There are no flashy units. The core units seem to be the same, but when it comes to air tabs, for instance, these divisions are completely different. And when we're looking at the opener here, we're seeing Berthags investing heavily into anti-air, both with double E-class as well as double Tunguskas, with no armor, only Conquerors M cars and BMP3s. Very infantry heavy with light recon squads, whereas Mix90 is investing into the Spetsnaz GRU, the Special Forces recon, followed up by the very good forward deployment BMP2 Rasvedkas, with actually a T80BV and a MiG-29 behind, as well as a Coupe. So the openers here, very much the 79th armor is investing in smaller amount of troops, smaller amount of units with a more expensive and heavier bent here. Especially the Rasvedka BMP2s with motor Rasvedkas, very expensive to buy those. There's 2 recon units, so you're paying extra for 2 recon units per car.
Yeah. The MiG-29 makes sense because the Mi-24K recon helicopter could be around with 27th, so you don't want to let your Spetsnaz GRU be killed by that. We have a first combat here, the Vertigo of Berthags taking the worst end of this. I really like the BRDM Conqueror's M's, which got buffed lately. They have better stealth now. They are a bit more pricey for that as well, but they gladly pay that with their fantastic 23 penetration missile, the best ATGMs the Soviets have to offer on the ground. And first contact here with the BMP-2. BMP-2 doesn't want to risk it, smokes off. ADB now the next target, firing its ATGM as well though, so Berthags is the one to retreat out of this one. And yeah, first couple of shots, interesting back and forth here. Who do you like better in the opener here, position-wise now?
Well, I mean, Mix90 has taken the 2-point zone in the center, and currently Berthags needs to try to screen out and suppress this T-80B. As long as the tank can keep on firing, I think Berthags' opener is in a really weak position, and the tank being inside here, being able to dodge these missiles, will be a complete terror for Berthags. But in case Berthags manages to get a couple of critical kills, maybe buying actually the MiG-29 gets hit here, so maybe buying an AT plane, one of the Su-17s, can take out the T-80. This could open up the superior infantry and superior HE power of Berthags to get on the point here. But I think Mix90 is playing it safe, putting down the T-80 and engaging this superior force from buildings. So and with another T-80 actually coming from Mix90, with 2 T-80s coming from Mix90, actually no infantry reinforcements here. So I think losing these infantry units, the Saperis, might actually be a bit more serious than we thought. This could be that this armored tank centering opener here could be weakened very significantly if Berthags manages to get into these buildings now.
Yeah, though if he buys infantry with the next tab, they will arrive at a similar time as the last T-80B, so the push might still materialize at the same time. But the question is, can Berthags use the little vision that Mix90 has now and the little building cover to maybe achieve something? But Su-25 and T-80B VIZD here, eliminating one of the motor strikes nearly completely already. The others being bullied back by the other T-80. Great tank play here by Mix90 in the early stages of this game. And Berthags being pushed back here a bit, brings a helicopter in. That's an interesting choice. We only have a Coupe as AA here. The Su-25 could maybe help out in a pinch as well, so the Mi-24 doesn't want to fly too far forward, but interesting fights here nonetheless.
Yeah, so far I would call this for Mix90 now, with 3 tanks in the middle here. The single BRDM and the ATGMs just can't deal with a massed amount of tanks. As long as it's spotted, one of these tanks will be able to pick it out. Though we're gonna see the it's getting smoked out. The position has been revealed, and now the tank can engage at its own volition, dodging to the smoke whenever it wants.
Oh no, the re-aiming so many times, but still gets the kill in the end. Might have lost vision there for a split second.
No, actually, the anti-tank missile was targeting, and the re-aim happened because Mix90 deactivated the anti-tank missile.
But the reach, why would the... Okay, I have no idea. Su-25 AT still flying around in the rear, still keeping the helicopters back, but there is a second helicopter now for Berthags. Still no further AA being brought out for Mix90. He has MiG-29, we saw that earlier, so there is potential for more planes to kill those helicopters, but we have a Tunguska on the other side as already as well. That's the only AA in the north. We have 2 more Iglas in the south, so yeah, a relatively slow opener, though Mix90 with a couple better picks so far, getting the Conquerors, getting a couple of more infantry units killed, so, and still holding the center, though with only a light hold on it at the moment.
Yeah, these fights right now are being fought on Mix90's terms, on long range, attacking on long range against a front of the 80s is absolutely fighting in Mix90's terms right now. something needs to. But these T80s are a big investment. 265 to 275 points. The cheapest one actually is the T80B is actually 250, and all of these tanks, losing one of them is a massive tempo loss this early in the mid game, in the first 10 minutes of the game. Actually, the SU-25 is getting Berthags tries to snipe it to Mix90, Mig-29, but neither one of them gets any hit, and going too far to Thors and Tunguskas opening fire on Mix90's planes. That the right there is a massive tempo loss. Now
the Mig-29 coming around one more time. Can the Tor get another one out? The Tor tries. It misses for now. E-Glass not being able to get a shot off. So yeah, the planes, one down, one heavily damaged, and that means the Mi-24Vs now can really start engaging here. And that MiG-29 is actually a great helicopter killer because it has 2 infrared missiles, but yeah, we have Grad now hitting the only AA currently on the front line. The Coop most likely gonna go down, and that means those Hinds really can go to town most likely in a second. We have a Tunguska on the way, but it is not yet here. That's the perfect anti-helicopter AA unit, but it is not quite in position yet, and that might give Berthags a small window of opportunity here to really do some damage.
Yeah, this Berthags doesn't really have the ground troops to push here. But Berthags has been reinforcing the northern position where they originally fought off Mix90's infantry push. Mix90's infantry right now in a very weak position, so small reinforcements up top here could actually be crucial, especially if they are supported with a grad salvo. And but the middle here, really the lack of tanks from Berthags is really, I think, kind of a brave choice going against these T90s. No, actually not. Almost getting to Tunguska with a long-range BMP-3 missile. A Conqueror's M is going to the tower here. That is a massive weapon. The firing position here will allow the Conqueror's M, especially if it's supplied with an MTLB. It will basically
takes out the T80BV IZD immediately. It might have been a slight side shot there.
It was, yes.
Yeah, like that damage was really heavy. T80BV IZD down. One BMP3 got killed off as well, so Mix90 not in taking a bad, but not a completely terrible trade there. Still losing one out of the 3 super important T80BVs in the middle, and the best one out of those nonetheless with the IZD is painful. We have another T80BV engagement now down south with Berthags' T80BV trying to fish for a side shot, though the T80B of Mix90 coming out as well to play, and that's 2 versus 1. That's always good for the 2. And Conqueror's M getting eliminated on the way into the buildings there. Great find as well. So Mix90 starting to balance the loss out again. Yeah, 1 Conqueror's M, 1 Igla, and a BMP3. That's worth a T80BV. So Mix90 is fine here again. Oh, but the side shot from the T80BV of Berthags. Great maneuvering there on both sides, and now they have to get out of there again, have to get repaired, and that means the infantry might be open for a bit of bullying on the front line.
Yeah, the Grad has been reloaded halfway, and currently we're seeing Mix90's expensive vehicles being pushed into this very tight area inside the on the right side.
Oh, Tunguska coming up again on the road. The Conqueror's M at least is out of missiles. The BMP3 still has some left though. And it might lose, yeah, it does lose targeting there for a split second. That is super important. That these Tunguskas are the best tools that he has against those Hinds, and you really don't want to lose them the second they come in.
Yeah. By the way, the MiG-20, did you say? Wait, no, I was. You talked about the MiG-29 AA2 earlier, but the AA3 is not great against helicopters because even though they have 2 infrared missiles, one of these infrared missiles does not hit helicopters, I believe.
Oh yeah, I misremembered that one. It still has a decent gun, and the R73s are still decent, but yeah, it's not as great as I thought it was. But yeah, it's still a fantastic plane. So losing that would have been painful. T80BV and T80B sitting still in the forest. The repair is going on, but the MTLB is out of supply, so another one needs to come up. And that means Mix90 has 2 half health tanks, and that's always a bit scary. That means a lot of things can one-shot them. And they are expensive units, so you don't want to lose them to one-shots. And the Gruts might get ready here for another great salvo. Artillery coming in from the south now as well, as the Nonnas have arrived on the front line. MTLB gets sniped, the T80BVs have to rotate around. And Mix90 maybe over-investing a bit into AA lately instead of more frontline units. Another T80BV coming around. The Barry coming around. We have a Strela and 2 Tunguskas up here now, plus an Igla. And then only 2 infantry squads and 2 tanks.
Yeah, there was a push by Mix90's infantry up top, but the engagement was fought really badly. The heavy machine gun teams were able to cut down the Mix90's troops, and Mix90's flame tank was not part of the fight, so there never was any chance here. And I think the Berthags has way that Berthag has been.
The Gruts coming in. The Gruts coming in, and that is devastating. CV going down, Tunguska and T80B most likely going down as well. The T80BV might escape, but it is super stressed out and low on hit points, so it needs to disengage really far into the rear now to get a full-on repair, and that leaves Berthags now with a solid opportunity. A T80BV IZD has come around. I would like to see artillery, yeah, the moment I say that. 2 Akatsias are on the way to the front line, because Mix90 needs to deal with that Conqueror's M position. That is one of the strongest positions on this map. Yeah, kind of balancing out that the red side is faster into the middle, and you really want to get rid of that as soon as possible. Tunguska engaging the Mi-24 Heinz, one of them going down immediately. That's why Tunguskas are so lovely against helicopters. Great range on the missiles, and even if the missiles miss, the gun still can stand down any helicopter that tries to get closer.
Yeah, I'd like to point out how excellent Berthags' recon gameplay is here. A 2 Razvedka squads, both south and north of the X-ray point, giving the forward warning and giving the information of where the T80BVs are currently, allowing the positioning of both ATGMs as well as the offensive troops and artillery. I believe this grad shot, these grad kills likely wouldn't have happened without this very diligent recon play. And I also really like how Berthags has been, the way that Berthag has been engaging and attacking a heavier mechanized force that is on defense, buying very little infantry, only token amounts of infantry, and really concentrating on the support units, whether it be Nonas, whether it be grads, recons. And I think that is the way to go. You can't send in waves and waves of infantry to be targeted by these T80BVs. The infantry needs to be almost like a technicality here. The main fighting is being done by the artillery and the recon, and I think that is beautiful. I like it when players do something like this in WARNO.
Yes, we have the 3 Nonnas also now re-aiming on the resupply point of the T80BV. Strela using its amphibious capabilities. One of the reasons why Pact is relatively good on this map, because yeah, they have a couple of units that can use the amphibious tools on to dodge annoying line of sights, with Pact having a good bit more amphibious units than NATO in general. And yeah, the Strela using that here to not have to run into any ATGM vehicles whilst getting into the forest. The artillery advantage for sure on side of Berthags here, though the 2 Akatsias got rid of the Conqueror's M on the other side, but 2 Gruts and 3 Nonnas is quite scary artillery power, so the units of Mix90 have to stay flexible, have to stay agile. SU-25 AT trying to come in, immediately eats a missile here though, and its ATGM got dodged by the smoke. The ADBV of Mix90 getting killed now by the 2 of Berthags, and this is starting to look relatively strong for Berthags in the middle numbers-wise. 2 T80BVs, 2 BMP3s in the north, against only 1 T80BV IZD. More coming in, but on the front line currently, Mix90 looks relatively weak.
Yeah, I think Mix90 really wants to push this for at least 1,000-point lead against Berthags, and even in the late game. In the late game, I think if they trade tanks, 79th likely will have enough of them. But right here, I think Mix90 has really been trying to push the advantage up north, and also with the bombardment going down south. I think Mix90 really wants to spread this game, knowing that the Berthags push right now will be the final one. So much concentrations, and I think we might be seeing the T80BVs try to move into southern or northern positions, unless Mix90 starts getting really good trades here.
Yeah, 2 BMP3s at least got killed off as the T80BVs of Mix90 ambushed them. So one of the T80BVs is relatively low. The infantry and the artillery pinning down Berthags' tanks and dealing decent damage to them, but the infantry of Berthags now pushing through quite well. Currently, the tanks of Mix90 are the ones that help out with the fight, though, so he might be able to hold with those sub-parries. And the T80BVs firing. Oh, but the Nonnas! The Nonnas on top of the T80BV IZD. If that falls, that would be devastating. It tries to run. It is super low. That's less than 1 hit point. It might get out alive, though. That is really important for Mix90 here right now.
Yeah, if there was a... does 79th get a grad?
Yes, it does. We don't see it here right now, though.
I think a pre-bought grad instead of one of the Akatsias or one of the tanks, a pre-bought grad to bombard this area when the Berthags infantry attack pushed in. That could have maybe evened out the odds on this close range fight. Now Mix90 needs to start building up a mech blob, heal up the tanks, and leave this engagement as soon as possible, because with the Motorasvedka being up front here and literally no recon out here from Mix90, these engagements, if they are had right now, will probably go really badly.
Yeah, MiG-23's MLDs coming around, getting a kill here on the helicopter, the Hind helicopter, trying to help out. One of the MiG-29s going down on the way out, though, Eagle with a nice kill. Another T80BV IZD from Mix90 trying to push around on the flank. Mix90 with another attempt in the north, but the TO-55 not engaging. I don't know why. Like, if that would help out there right now, that push actually might be possible. With the 3 infantry squads versus 3 infantry squads and buildings, a TO-55 pushing on top of that could be big. There's no ATGMs or so in position right now. But yeah, we still have 3 T80BVs for Berthags in the middle, 1 more roaming around in the north now. And there's only the 3 tanks and 2 AA pieces right now left for Mix90 in the center. More tanks coming up, but he lacks the infantry and the recon especially to do any big maneuvering here right now.
Yeah, currently I was watching the recon perspectives of both players, and Berthags has a massive recon advantage. Berthags could spot the T80BV ISD that is currently retreating. The Rasvedka could actually literally see it, and meanwhile Mix90 has 0 practical usable information about the enemy here, especially because the enemy is constantly taking different positions. Berthags smoking down south and moving in with infantry to start threatening Lima. So reinforcements, even more reinforcements, need to be immediately bought. A single Motostrelki will not be able to take this. We can even see Berthags bring out the weapons teams, the NSV 50 cal machine guns, moving them into positions to possibly defend Lima up in future, and 300 points up already, 300 points remaining. If this Lima push happens, it would pull out resources, crucial resources that Mix90 needs for a counterattack.
Yeah, the ZSU-23s are an interesting choice here for the middle as well. A lot of them coming around as cheap AA pieces that can deal with helicopters nicely, that can be a bit of fire support as well, and that also, even if plane flies directly over them, like especially Su-25s, they can deal with that as well. So yeah, cheap spammable all-rounder support there, basically. As Mix90 tries to get a T80BV IZD and a Motostrelki into the south quickly here to try to stop the push from happening. But BMP3 there on the side. Motostrelki needs to unload. It gets killed off in transport. That is big, because that was here to spot for the T80BV. The Vertigo in the open field most likely going to go down soon as well. And this is a big problem here now. This is a big problem.
Yes, Spetsnaz have RPG-26s, which are the good RPGs, because they have 675 meter range. And when it comes to infantry weapons, the range is the most essential stat, because if you have good range, those weapons get fired. If you don't have good range, like 500-meter AT weapons, they don't get fired. That is in practice, getting that kill is the difference really between good and bad AT weapons.
Yeah, the Akatsias here coming in with some fire. SU-25 coming around. TDBV's pivoting south actually now. But we see Berthags starting to pull ahead in points here. Or like closing in. And yeah, Saperi's in the north still trying to move around. We have an IZD there as well. That could be really crucial, though it needs to be the TDBV and the Conqueror's M. If it deals with those, there is little that can kill it. The TDBV versus the Conqueror's M should be easily winnable now for Mix90, as he knows the position. Oh, MiG-29 in the rear. Did they do anything, or did they just get damaged? I'm not quite sure. They might have ambushed enemy planes there, as they rotated through the north and not being spotted. Both came out damaged. The Tor came in and damaged them both. It fired 5
minutes. Yeah, I think it was ordered with the Su-25 in case a fighter, in case the MiG-23s get sent against the Su-25. But I would like to point out, look into the southwest of X-Ray. Berthags has the tanks in a in kind of in the back line in the reserve, where the tanks can be moved to engage any kind of enemy enemy push. With the grants, with the extensive recon here, with a large amount of support units, whether it comes to recon units or light AA or ATGMs, all of this Berthags' gameplay seems really well planned out here.
Yeah, at the same time though, Mix90 with a real push in the north pivoted a TADBV up there. The TADBVs that you were talking about in reserve are great to help X-Ray, are great to go down to Lima. They are far away from the northern part of the map though, and that's where Mix90 now, rightfully so I would say, is starting to get into a new engagement here. TADBVs getting some kills. The CV vehicle is there as well with a BRDM, but the Conqueror's M here, really crucial that made it up to the front line here in the church tower. This is an annoying unit to get rid of. The Akatsias should immediately aim for that. They go for the buildings in the point itself and in Papa itself instead of for the ATGM, but that's not quite where the money is right now.
Yeah, and if you look at the southern Lima defense, Mix90 has 3 T-80s with some infantry and recon, with only actually some recon defending this. These the 3 main battle tanks defending the secondary position and not being actively part of the fight. That is very inefficient. So I think if everything goes Mix90's way, there will be a southern counterattack at some point, because having those tanks there and not using them will be just a massive tactical loss.
Yeah, the best case scenario for Mix90 here right now would be winning the north, then forcing those TADBVs around X-Ray to move north, which is a long way, taking a lot of time, and then when they move north, counterattack in the south. But that's still far from happening. Right now, we see Mix90 starting to capture the first point here, though. BRDM stops the tick, but Berthags by now is already ahead in points, so Mix90 needs to capture more than just Papa. Papa will stop the tick, but it won't get Mix90 back into the lead, and we still have Conqueror's M, we still have BMP2s here, so the position is still not easy to take.
Yeah, now as the Saperi get in the middle of the point, the longer range defense of Berthags start firing. The Conqueror's MBRDM gets a spot there, and actually, I think Berthags won this.
Yeah, we saw a surrender from Mix90 as the CV vehicle died there, and Mix90 didn't quite believe in getting in there again. 1,200 points killed more is a pretty big advantage here for Berthags in this game 1. And yeah, getting to push back when you're behind that far, both in tick and in units on the battlefield, is really, really tough. In a best of 5, which we have here, you might also want to conserve resources, want to conserve brain power. So surrender at this point makes sense, as that CV loss for sure would mean that Berthags would have ticked up a good bit further. And yeah, GGVP here, 2 Berthags in game number 1. Interesting game, really, really hot start. Great micro there from both sides, and Berthags with a fantastic strategy here to break the 79th.
Yeah, it was really the support weapons versus the main battle tanks, and we could see how the support weapons, when used diligently, when you micro and you kind of tempo and plan out your offenses, you sneak up recon when you can, you hold the recon in tactical positions, and that is enough to beat out the good and efficient tank blobs. Apparently, I was constantly watching the recon gameplay, and the fact that Berthags just constantly had more info, and Mix90 was constantly fighting to get more info, risking the tanks into positions where they could be side shot, having to find out about the enemy ATGMs after the ATGMs had fired on them. All of these little things build up and lead to tactical losses. Even if you don't lose the tanks need to retreat at some point.
Yeah, Berthags is really doing fantastic here. Up 1-0, the Dark Horse does continue to do it again. So let's see if Mix90 can recover in game number 2. And yeah, really strong show here. The artillery once more being of crucial importance on Mount River. Those Grad salvos, devastating. We have seen it a couple of times before, like divisions that usually aren't quite up there, or playstyles that aren't quite up there on other maps, working out quite well on this one. Like, for example, 6 Moto has a really good record on Mount River as well. And that is to a big part due to how powerful artillery is on this map. And yeah, we're gonna go into a short break, guys. Then we're gonna be back with game number 2, so don't run away. And yeah, let's see how the semifinal continues here. So, game number 2, everybody. Berthags up 1-0 here. And we are on Black Forest. A pretty different map to Mount River. And we are in a pretty different matchup as well, as it is NATO versus NATO this time. After Pact versus Pact in game number 1, we have Berthags on the left side with 15th Day, Mix90 on the right side with 3rd US. And yeah, I also want to use this second here to thank you all for all the follows and subscriptions over the last couple of weeks throughout this season. It has been amazing with all of you in chat being active as well, and all the support that this event has gathered from all of you. And yeah, if you want to help out further, consider leaving some likes, leaving some follows down below, and also check out Clorak's channel down in the description down below on YouTube, in the chat right now on Twitch. And yeah, let's talk about the game here. What do you think about Berthags' opener so far here?
So Vertex's opener here seems to be pretty standard, but aggro-centered 5e. When we're talking about armored divisions playing against each other on Black Forest, I mean that's going to be a long game, right? But Berthags 5e is the lightest of NATO armored divisions, and having the two VAB PM81s, the fast-traveling self-propelled mortars to push for early position taking with some really strong infantry, the commandos coming out not in helicopters but in trucks actually, with the Grenadier Voltigeur and with the Tarask providing forward fast AA anti-helicopter defense. I think this is kind of a French smoke convoy. The VABs will be fast in the front, smoking certain positions. Commandos and Milan 2s and BBL Milans will be out there taking crucial positions that will exploit the fact that third armored doesn't really have the strongest opener unless they can really exploit the air advantage. Their units take some time to bring onto the board. They can't really engage in a fight immediately, and or not on their own terms at least. And I think Berthags knows this. Berthags knows that the any kind of a late game in which the M1 Abrams are on board means that the French are going to have to start juggling ATGM helicopters, ATGM planes, and ATGM vehicles to to start killing those tanks. And I think Berthags knows this. Berthags hasn't even bought any tanks, knowing that they won't be any kind of value here. And this is being played much like kind of like second Panzer Grenadier or fourth Moto without forward deployment troops.
Yeah, we also have the double Cobra opening here on the side of Mix90, which is pretty standard, but the Mistral opener on the other side might be quite good. The real classic Mix90 opener here with 30US, which is the only division that wasn't on the ban list that was compared to game number 1, where 30US was banned. Here it was switched out against 11th E, otherwise 8th, 1st and 2nd UK being the same bans, and a pretty standard 30US opener for the current meta, especially if you see it in Mix90's hands with the double Phantom in the skies and the double Cobra to stop early advancing units of the enemy. The VBL Milan's obviously prime targets here. The Milan 2 is super deadly, so if you can kill that off early, that would be really helpful. And then a slow follow-up behind that. Engineers, Dragons, Snipers, and some 84s. One M1A1 as a CV. So yeah, way fewer ground units here for Mix90, but he has those air units. The question is, can those Cobras here do the damage before the unit of Berthags gets the jump on them?
So the VBL Milan smartly running away and letting the Tarasks to start pursuing the Cobras. If we look at the reinforcements, the first minute reinforcements from Mix90 are engineers and now a Bradley recon vehicle, whereas the first minute reinforcements from Berthags is a Brennus tank and a Roland 3 AA vehicle. And so I think it's pretty obvious that Berthags is buying to attack here, getting one and almost a second Cobra here with the numerous fast traveling AA gun trucks.
Yeah, and we have
T20s.
Now both sides infantry most likely engaging each other in a second here in the middle as well. M1A1 still moving forward. The Phantoms still flying around. Another M1A1 CP coming up. Another Bradley. So heavy mechanized play here once more out of Mix90. The Engineered Dragons being fought by the TRM 2000s here. They do good stun damage. Sniper trying to help out from the sidelines here. Getting some decent shots against Grenadier Voltigeurs. Once the sniper trait is completely active, it will be really good damage. And it's the M1A1 now coming in as well. That is a super important unit here now that needs to help stabilizing. And that always is risky. Risking your CV tank directly on the front line, especially with only light support, is scary, but it obviously can pay off big times as well. So let's see what that M1A1 here can achieve on the front line.
Yeah, the VABs, the smoke mortars are firing smoke to enter into the Alpha town, not knowing that there is virtually no defense out there. A single infantry squad entering and a sniper doing the spotting. And the French, despite this, the French will be safely able to start pushing Alpha. Meanwhile, as the A1 Abrams is getting into a dangerously close position, if you look at the Grenadier Voltigeur Apilas, you can see that they have the maximum AT weapon range of 750 meters. And with Apilas, they are fast firing and they can penetrate the Abrams. And now it's just getting in there. The Abrams is done.
Milan 2 from the side as well. Milan 2. Oh, it finds the side shot. It gets the kill. This is massive. Turret is flying. This is a massive loss here early on for Mix90.
This Milan 2 position, this is a Milan 2 position. These buildings can fire at the reinforcement route where the enemy would put their command vehicles. That is one of the most tactical positions on the map. And yeah, Mix90 calling it quits there, losing such a large series of key units with the Cobras and key positions as well, knowing that the French push was going to Alpha with basically nothing there to stop it. And yeah, this was dare I say, just outplayed by Berthags.
This was a really aggressive push by Berthags against the super standard Mix90 opener, maybe too predictable Mix90 opener there, and yeah, a bit too many eggs in one basket there with those that M1A1 being expected a lot of, and it just didn't work out. If that M1A1 could have gotten a kill or two there and could have retreated afterwards. The situation obviously would have been quite well, but that's a big what if scenario that didn't happen here. Mix90 losing it, and yeah, with that, the position in the center was done for. Sure, you can criticize that maybe that he quitted maybe a bit too early, but it is best of 5 series. You're behind 0-2 now, but you still want to go on there and not waste too much time and too much bad thoughts into a game that 90% is lost at this point, because recovering from such heavy losses and such heavy positional losses as well as it would have gone on from here on is really, really tough. As you also have to see, it wasn't just behind on the ground, he also had a lot of investment into planes, so he was behind around 1,000 points at this point on the ground, and that means Berthags had full control down there.
Yeah, I think there was a sniper on the northeast to east side of the middle point, and I think if that sniper had been on return fire and stealthed, so it couldn't have been spotted by the VBL Milans, I think that sniper could have allowed the M1A1 to engage at a longer range. But at that point, when the command Abrams got there, the sniper had already been taken care of.
Yeah, really good game by Berthags here. Absolutely classic standard opener there with the 5th, and him just punishing the standardness here of Mix90. Like, this is a super classic ranked opener there that works in a lot of cases, but Berthags just saying, nope, I'm gonna be aggressive here. Also saving the VBL Milans really well early on, which repaid later on as they got some important kills here. And that really helped out getting the GG's VPs here out early. And that means we're on the way to game number 3 here already. And to match ball already. This might be a short series, guys. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And one more game remaining, potentially. Or will it be the reverse sweep here for Mix90? And will he get back on Berthags? We have seen a decent amount of reverse sweeps here by now in this tournament. Let's see if Mix90 can do it today here, or if it will be a clean 3-0 victory for Berthags.
On Hessa duel.
So yeah, quick break, guys. We're gonna be back in a second with game number 3. And here we go into the potentially final match, as Berthags is on match ball, but Mix90 is a strong player. We have seen great series out of him in the past, and I'm optimistic that he will give us an interesting fight here as well, as we have Berthags on the left side in red, bringing around 24th, and Mix90 with one of my favorite divisions of all time, Berlin Command here, with triple P4 opener here already. This is going to be interesting. Once more, shout out, guys. This is a pretty important match. Both players already in the prize money, thanks to your support, as all the semifinalists will get part of the prize pool as well. But the final, the winner obviously will get a good bit more of it. And yeah, you can help out getting that prize pool even higher. We are at $321 by now. Matcherino is where you can help out with that. And yeah, thanks once more for all the guys contributing. It's amazing to see how much is possible with this community. And yeah, looking forward to see how far we can push this. Really looking forward to upcoming seasons as well. Currently planning out on how to schedule all of that for the rest of the year, as I'm having plans for a lot more tournaments as well. More information with that on the grand final, which will happen on the 3rd of August. So mark that in your calendar, guys. The grand finals of the WARNO League happening next weekend on the 3rd of August. Second semifinal will happen tomorrow. So yeah, have all of that be ready. And let's have a look here on the game itself. Berthags 24th, Mix90 with Berlin Command. What do you think about these division picks?
Yeah, so 24th, one of my favorite divisions of all times, and a division that kind of unjustifiably, in the WARNO common sense ideas that people have about WARNO, people say that 24th has a weak infantry tab. That is not true. 24th has weak infantry units. Their infantry tab is very powerful because they have so many Bradleys, including the National Guard's Bradleys, which are just amazing fire support units with their Itos and their Bushmasters and their availability. Right now, we're seeing Berthags once again going to try something a bit funny. And the funny here is that they're using the 10-point National Guard's 50 cal machine gun teams to screen and define the battle lines with some key positions here. And you are also supported with the NG Scout, so investing very, very, very little, but still getting a lots of numbers to defend the area, the urban area. Mix90, of course, playing standard Berlin, so having the Posse and the SEK special forces, the close quarters elite units and recon, most likely trying to push these positions and then getting fired by the machine guns, the 10-point machine gun teams here. So I think so far from Berthags, this seems to be uh, pretty smart, considering that any enemy infantry attack is going to be slow, so reinforcements will be able to get there. On the northern side, more open side of the area, we're seeing Berthags open with 2 M1 Abrams, one of them being a leader, and a massive amount of recon units. And once again, I think the recon advantage we've seen is so important when it comes to long range slugging out with tanks and ATGMs. And as long as Berthags will have some kind of an idea where the more limited tank tab of Mix90 and Berlin Command will be stationed, the Abrams and the Bradleys are powerful enough to break basically everything that the Mix90 can send to them. I believe Berlin Command gets a single guard of IP Abrams, which is the same thing that 24th has, but 24th gets a massively larger amount of them.
Yeah, we see the action now happening. Eglers coming in, infantry all across the board on both sides. Though the infantry way better for Mix90, as you pointed out. But on the other side, Berthags has the Bradleys, has 2 Abrams on the battlefield here, pushing through in the north towards X-Ray immediately. Only tank on Mix90's side is an AMX-30B. That is not really there to fight tanks. It can fight IFVs decently, and it's especially great at mopping up infantry. So let's see how that all goes. Let's see if we will see each side's LGB bombers in this game as well, as both have some of the most notorious LGB laser-guided bomb planes in the game. The Nighthawk on the side of Berlin Command, and then the Strike Eagle on the side of Berthags' 24th. So that could be deciding units in this game as well. And the PSSEB pushing through here with their false flags. Absolute beautiful models here. All really 80s style moving in. And the first couple of National Guard scouts already getting killed by them.
Yeah, infantry reinforcements predictably sent in by Berthags, fire teams, and military police here. And spotting the large amount of infantry, both the Frivillige Polizeireserve, the Corps Z assault reserve police units, and engineer dragons, very efficient, very, very good shock trade infantry that you get in large squads. But when it comes to urban fighting, unless you have units like Posse, unless you have a group of engineers that are capable of getting close enough to start throwing their satchel charges, urban fights take a long time. And with very, very limited visibility, you can't really just blindly start walking your special forces up there, because they might get into some kind of firing range. So the attacker here, Mix90, is going to have to move from building to building. Meanwhile, the reinforcements of Berthags and maybe even something like a bomber gets built up here.
Yeah, we have a Cobra coming in the rear now as well. And yeah, the push towards X-Ray, I don't think Mix90 can stop that. Some Humvee TOWs coming around. Great vehicle to kill off some Abrams. TOW2s do a lot of damage against any kind of armor. AMX-30B coming around there as well, though that is not the best in that kind of matchup. We have another PSSEB versus National Guard, though the 50 cal drug this time helping out, but it should still be a W here for the Special Forces, the American Commandos. Kill in the south on a truck. Not super important engagements here just yet in the south for Mix90. The Phantom staying around in the rear here, being ready for any kind of Nighthawk coming in potentially on the battlefield. And the Milan 2 now here starting to engage the M1A1, the M1IP. Does miss though, really unfortunate there for Mix90, and the Milan 2 immediately gets rinsed. And that is a problematic position now in the north. Though I think the focus for Mix90 is the south anyway right now, so it's Not surprising. First Nighthawk coming in. Let's see what it can do. Oh, it's targeting the National Guards here. It's not hitting the... Yeah, it's hitting the National Guard, not the M1IP. And it gets killed off by the Phantom. That's not the trade you want to do there. If it would have killed the M1IP and get killed off, okay, that's not great, but it's absolutely acceptable trade. But a National Guard Scouts versus a Nighthawk is a terrible, terrible trade, and that is a problem here for Mix90.
Yeah, that's a massive problem. Must be really demoralizing for Mix90 after in the last game also losing a bunch of key units right in the opener there. Berthags has managed to get both fire support, 2 helicopters, and good positions down south here to defend against the urban push. And as the fires, even though the infantry units are better for Mix90, the fire support of the Bradleys and the support of the M60s also were even after the Cobras get shot down by the Stingers. I think this will be a tough nut to crack considering the ability for these machine gun teams and these Bradleys to just keep on laying down the fire, and it's very difficult to attack against these Bradleys in an urban environment, because even if you start pushing infantry up front, the Bradleys can just retreat and they can just take more positions. And meanwhile, Mix90 has worryingly small amounts of forces up north here, where there are 2 close-knit positions. One of them getting taken out by the Abrams in a moment, the X-ray position.
And yeah, Humvee toes on the way, but they're coming really close to the front line. They should be a bit further back in the rear. We saw already one running into the enemy here. M1IP about to get in range. Humvee toe number 1 getting into the action. Getting a good hit against an M1IP. Dealing 4 damage there. Trying to get another shot off, but the M1IP is pushing up, killing the Humvee toe in the south. Nighthawk number 2 coming around. That will be a kill. Yeah. Leader M1IP down. Phantom on the hunt again though, and there's no AA here around to protect the Nighthawk. Nighthawk most likely gonna go down again, and that is an okay trade. Killing off his leader CV, but the tow Humvees lost around that. Pretty painful. The engagement in the south is okay. A couple of important units being killed off here by Mix90, but he hasn't pushed through, and the north is in absolute disarray now.
In the south, the Mix90's infantry has pushed into close fighting positions, but I think enough damage is being done by these 10-point M60 machine gun teams to support this. The Bradley is still alive, and even though reinforcements are not coming in on the moment, I think the firepower in these buildings is just enough. The military police are taking away the reservist traits of the National Guards units, giving just the extra little push that they need to fight effectively. The military police squad also has 2 machine guns, and it's a 10-man squad, and there is even a leader here to give extra veterancy.
Yeah, the PSSEB also out of AT, the Grandier Voltigier, which have a great AT launcher, being routed at the moment. We have another push towards Echo though, where the infantry of Mix90 currently is doing well. National Guard units and Ito getting taken out there. And with the M1IP killed and not able to capture X-Ray fully, the tick rate is not of an issue yet, but the PSSEB now getting eliminated there in the south. That is an issue. That means the push towards November is dead. M1IP now being brought in to try to reinforce that push. Grandier Voltigiers need to be repaired. But yeah, 2 more infantry squads is really needed here to help out. Grandier Voltigiers getting a nice kill here. The position towards Echo really open. That is a good engagement there, really taken by Mix90. That might help out a lot. Meanwhile though, M1IP pushing towards the engineered dragons, and they are too close there to fire their dragon most likely, and that could be a big problem. Oh, they're just within range. Dragon gets tracks broken on the M1IP. No artillery or so around to really take advantage of that yet though, and the engineered dragons still in trouble over there.
So the Strike Eagle, I don't know if you saw that, but the Strike Eagle was actually brought out to destroy the 2 Posse Bs and end the push down south. And if people know anything about Berlin Command, it's the fact that they don't have good anti-air. They only have man-pads, and their only anti-air fighters are these Harriers, which are subsonic fighters with only heat-seeking missiles. So any kind of I think the Strike Eagle just kind of hard counters Berlin Command. There's nothing that can reliably kill it, and the Strike Eagle can quickly go and
Oh,
resupply, bomb enemy buildings, and then run back to resupply. And there is nothing that Berlin Command can do about it. Berlin
the
Command needs
Harrier
to
there
have.
with the lucky hit on the way out. Okay, Harrier and Phantom trading 1-1. I mean, Mistrals are the strongest man pets in the game, so they still have the range and the killing power to actually take a Strike Eagle out. But yeah, there's only one of them and a Stinger and 2 Javelins on the battlefield right now. So yeah, the Strike Eagle absolutely still really scary, and Mix90 has to play around that. We have 2 M1 IPs, which are prime targets for Strike Eagle right now on the battlefield. They have to be super ready to smoke the second something sounds weirdly in the sky, as otherwise they might be in trouble. But the push towards Papa, really good. Echo, really good one. +1 actually right now for Mix90. 2 Chieftains coming up, though. That's all really good targets for the Strike Eagle. And yeah, you don't have good fighters to protect them. And there's no AA in the north, so the Chieftains, a bit of a wild choice right now, giving those kind of valuable targets right now to the opponent, as the
Yeah,
push in the south does continue.
yeah, speaking of that, the National Guard's Apache with the Strike Eagle moving in to defend the southern urban
Oh,
position.
Strike Eagle turning around, M1IP there in trouble. Mistrals, can they get a hit? No, they can't, and the M1IP goes down. Not able to capture the zone, and yeah, that's exactly the issue that we were talking about. Strike Eagle, hard to kill. Not impossible, but you need a lot of man pets, especially the Stingers and the Mistrals, to be able to secure that kill. And the Strike Eagle coming around against the other M1IP right now as well, getting the double tap, and this is devastating news here for Mix90. Starting to run low on CVs maybe already, and yeah, running low on units on the battlefield as well. And oh my goodness, we have the GG already.
Yeah, on a map this size, you can't efficiently defend with manpads. If it was like a death row or something, if it was a tight area in which you could spam the manpads in like 2 locations and reliably be able to fire against the bombers, we just can't do that here. It's just too big. You can't coat the entire map on manpads and still win on the ground.
Yeah, really strong show here by Berthags, and the Dark Horse actually making it through to the finals, and in a really clean fashion in this semifinal nonetheless. A 3-0 victory here for our man from down under, beating Mix90. So no second chance for Mix90 in the grand finals this season after he lost against Team in Place there last season. And we will have 2 new finalists for sure in the league grand final. And Yuki Poor versus Neff being the other semifinal, which could get us a rematch between Yuki and Berthags, or Neff versus Berthags, both really hyped matches as well. That semifinal, as I said, will be covered tomorrow, same time, 1 p.m. And yeah, this is the first semifinal here. Berthags getting through. Um, yeah, really, really quick one for best of 5. 3-0 with 2 quite short games, but really impressive play here by Berthags nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoy watching Berthags. Berthags obviously have a plan against every situation and a unit composition to counter the opponent. I don't know how. I don't know what the planning was on Mix90's end, but at least one of these games, the Black Forest game, was a very standard third US opener, and even in this game on Hessa, the possibly being used as these assault troops pushing through and paving the way for the Corps Z and the Grenadier Voltigeur. That is a good plan, but if you allow the enemy, or don't necessarily allow, but if the enemy gets into your back position and is playing Berlin Command, they are going to have to send so many manpads out there for you to not have air superiority as 24th. And I think that's one of the reasons why we saw Mix90 open with those multiple CVs, knowing that this is either going to be a rush win or it's not going to be a win at all.
Yeah, the man pet numbers could have stabilized in a later game. I think the double chieftain was the biggest mistake there. If those investments would have gone into man pets and more infantry for the southern push, so that you get the kill onto the strike eagle when it tries to come for your M1 IP, then the game would have been super balanced. Like the difference in kills was only those two M1 IPs with no loss on the other side, but those were crucial kills here right now. Like, yeah, maybe once more a slightly early tap out here by Mix90, but once more Berthags on the brink of breakthrough, absolutely collapsing Mix90's position here. So it still made sense here. Berthags making it into the grand finals. I'm really excited for that one. I'm really excited to figure out who will be his opponent tomorrow. And yeah, grand finals, as I said, coming up next Saturday, 3 p.m. We will have stats going on there about the league. We will have previews and future tournaments there as well. So if you don't want to miss that, come around for all of that. And yeah, it's gonna be a really fantastic show there as well. As this was a really short series, guys, we don't want to leave you hanging. We're gonna cover now the remaining quarterfinal of Division 2 that we haven't covered when we were around for Division 2 last time. And that's going to be Proletari versus Cheesh. So don't run away, guys. Cheesh versus Proletari coming up next. And yeah, thanks for all the follows, guys. Thanks for all the support. If you have a Twitch Prime laying around, maybe, or you want to support the channel in general, consider leaving a sub. And yeah, see you all in a second. So here we go again, everybody. Cheesh versus Proletari, the last remaining quarterfinals of Division 2, where we have already Voice, me, Medinator, and Stardeck in the semifinals. So quite the interesting setup there already as well. And Cheesh versus Proletari, two really strong players as well. Two players here with a pretty interesting matchup as well on this game number 1. As we have on the left side Cheesh with 3rd US, and on the right side Sleepy Joe with 119th, aka Proletari. And that means heavy tank action on both sides. So I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah, the battle of the super heavies, the M1A1 HAs versus the T80Us and UDs. This traditionally Vertigo has been the long range engagement heavy tank map, but now with the centering of the middle citadel, which is, even though it's kind of a way more powerful seemingly for the left side player, for the blue player here, because you can have sight on your opponent's right side's reinforcement route. But also, if you capture this and you're on the right side player, the red side player, you can start pushing and enveloping alpha. So both sides really do get something from capturing this middle here, and only one of those sides have Spetsnaz. And the Spetsnaz seemingly are going up north, getting the free Charlie and Delta, the Delta points. We've seen in this meta, especially with heavier divisions, people not invest into the top and really wanting to get into the decisive battle down south. But I think the 1/19th units are so expensive that I think this is the early Spetsnaz forces will take the easily defensible positions and defend with the BRDM2 Conquers and with recon and possibly with some air also. And then in the mid game, both of these players will likely start buying their tanks. I think the even though the forward deployment advantage is for Sleepy Joe here, I think Cheech is likely to play a bit more aggro, just because Cheech will be able to bring out the fire support in the form of the Bradleys out very early, and also is investing into a super heavy tank, but as a leader to go to Foxtrot and Alpha.
Yeah. And yeah, the OPs coming around. It's only one normal Spetsnaz, and the rest is all the AT Spetsnaz here coming around for Proletari. So that is quite the interesting opener. On the other side, a lot of Bradleys here. No tanks on the battlefield on either side. And yeah, it's the classic hidden forward deploy / airborne War 19th opener. Like, obviously, what people know about that division, especially when they come from team games, is, oh yeah, they have the biggest tanks, they have the TADUs and UDs, but they also have actually a decent forward deploy with Spetsnaz and Spetsnaz OP, and they have a surprising amount of helicopters in there as well, both in the recon and the helicopter tab, plus good air superiority fighters to protect those, so they can be a surprisingly good helicopter spam deck as well.
Yeah, their problem is that they don't really have the mid-tier tanks or the mid-tier infantry. They also, even with the fast opener infantry, they don't have fast transported units to follow them up. They need to bring them out at BMP once. No BTRs, no infantry spam to keep up the push while your tanks are moving out there. You're gonna have the opener, and then you're gonna have to wait. That is the weakness of 119th, and what makes it so mechanical to play. But before the game starts here now, please Protoss point out the OP Spetsnaz unit card and show the range of the RPG 29 for all the newbies to understand why this unit is so powerful.
Yeah, it is the highest level penetration and the highest level range for an infantry AT weapon, plus the highest level accuracy for an infantry AT weapon. These are the absolute tank killers, especially as they come with high level veterancy as well, thanks to being Spetsnaz. So these guys can murder vehicles left, right, and center. The only issue they have is that it's not a throwaway AT weapon, but that means they have a lot of accuracy, ammunition, but they don't have the quickest reload time on those compared to Apilas, which are one use AT launchers. Those have a higher fire rate. That's the only AT weapon that I would say is comparable really to the RPG-29. But the RPG-29 here having 12 ammunition versus only 4 for the Apilas in most squads.
Yeah, and I believe OP Spetsnaz is the only special forces unit in the game that does not have the shock trait.
Yeah, that might
That is a
be the
recent
case.
change, I believe.
Su-24, LGB, and 2 Su-27s in the sky immediately here in the rear. So yeah, Sleepy Joe, Proletary here really wanting to use the super aggressive air action and the helicopter action that I was hinting at. Su-27's fantastic air superiority fighters at the moment. The F-15 obviously in quality still slightly better, but cost efficiency wise the Su-27 might be the peak at the moment as they got buffed last patch. 250 points, 10 missiles, 30 ECM, great accuracy and range on the missiles as well, so they are fantastic fighters. And yeah, searching for targets right now, though Cheesh not giving any good target for the Su-24 LGB here just yet.
Yeah, so far we're seeing the HA Abrams move into position following these scouts, and I think with these Bradleys and fire teams will be enough to push south here. So reinforcements will have to be brought out. But if Cheech is aware of this Su-24, this is out here obviously to take out Abrams. And Abrams HA command tank is the price for an LGB bomber. And that the moment it gets spotted, I think the Su-24 is just gonna dive in it. It's gonna take the risk, I believe. I would like to point out also that the Bradleys and the fire teams are being brought out Vet 1. No, Vet 2, which means that with the leader, they are elite. This is a tactic that is done by some players with armored divisions, and the idea of having these vetted up, expensive infantry units in your armored division, the point is that you don't want to spend too many points on infantry when you're playing armor. So you limit the availability of your infantry so that you will always have a more mech and tank centered buying rhythm. What would you say? Build order. Yes, build order.
Yeah, we have the Bradleys and M2H, the 50 cals here, rinsing one of the Spetsnaz in the south. Really light defense there by Terry. The focus more on the north, which is interesting, as Cheesh also invests a lot in the north. This is kind of unusual, but the meta was at the beginning, when the map rework came around, to completely focus on the south. And then slowly but surely people have started to move away from that direct massive engagement in the south about the center point, which is still important, but like, yeah, a lot more people now starting to like shift again a bit to the north because they expect the enemy to be in the south. So the meta gaming here going strong, and both sides here now in the end fighting more in the north than in the south. And we have a lot more infantry here coming in for the 30US. So the Spetsnaz, even though it's the way superior infantry, gets dealt with, but the LGB at least getting one kill there. Stinger getting a hit in though, so the SU-24 will be out for a while. Chaparral actually might take it out forever. It gets taken out forever. Long range Chaparral shot. That is a great kill. Great kill here for Cheech.
Was massive. Just the one hit was massive, but the two ones that's crushing, especially with the massive investment into air from Sleepy Joe's side. We saw a Spetsnaz, the top HE damage infantry unit in the game, go against numerous engineers with 0 vet. And on close range, those satchel charges did manage to take out the Spetsnaz. And with a T-80 BVK, the command tank being out there with barely any recon, and the third armored has just absolute superiority of the top point here. The Sleepy Joe needs to start playing amazingly well for this position to change here. I think the choice to open with the 2 Su-27s was a big mistake, considering that on the third side there was no air investment. So Sleepy Joe was betting that there would be an eagle, that there would be fighters coming out that could help even out the points advantage, because the Su-27s are really powerful against enemy fighters, and then open up a position for the Su-27 to get out a key unit. Now the fighters are just empty points doing nothing, refueling, and the bomber is dead.
Yep, BMP one piece, and so coming in for the south. Cheech there though, now in a commanding position, having the +1 there, and still also being somewhat in the lead here in the north. Bradley's coming around on the hunt here for the BTRs and 80 BVKs. Starting to get some good shots in that direction. Conquerors here moving around in the rear. T80 UD rolling in as well. So the first big boy coming in on the side of Proletary here on the right side. Whilst the M1A1 HA chilling in the south. That would have been the perfect target for the Su-24. But the Su-24 out of action now. And you only get one per card there, so it won't come around anytime soon. Whilst M1A1 CP in the north pushing in as well, and BMP-1P goes down. So this is a great position here right now for Cheech in the north. If that M1A1 can connect, the issue will be really real here. The town fight is something that Proletary really needs to win.
Yeah, and the town fight, as long as the Abrams, the Abrams and the Bradleys are back there providing amazing fire superiority, the Sleepy Joe has to be so careful about positioning their units, because the BTRs and the BMP-1s cannot provide a similar amount of fire superiority. And here we can see a Phantom coming and take out... No, okay, so I have this one prepared here.
Oh, this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy.
It is a tragedy at maximum scale. Oh no.
Yeah, for real. The Phantom Bomber coming in, getting a great hit, and now we only have the tanks here really remaining for Proletary and a helicopter, but Stingers and Chaparral are around, so the Hind needs to be really careful. The Mi-24 there. M1A1 rotating around, BMP-1P under fire. EDUs desperately trying to hold the defense. Good hit there by the BMP-1, actually finding an ATGM side hit in the M1A1. So that one can't take the fight yet, but the infantry has it under control. The +2 tick is live for Cheech, and Cheech also starting to take over the center of the map now as well. So yeah, the blue wave here breaking the red side. Heavy investment into air, not paying off at all here for Proletary, and then on the ground, it's the classic issue of 119th. It is a really expensive deck, and if your combined arms starts to fall apart, replacing it is insanely hard. 3rd US has a similar issue, though on a slightly lower scale, but it is the 119th that got hit here first with the more important losses, and replacing that is just such a hard job to do.
Yeah, the Bradleys will be able to compensate for any massive losses, considering the Bradleys can defend on such a long range so effectively, and you get so many of them. And we're seeing a Mista a artillery piece being brought out from Proletary, so not giving up yet. The 10 minutes in the mid game, we're seeing 1, 2, 3 tanks come from the Soviet side, and I think 3 tanks might be enough to start pushing and challenging these American ATGMs straight up, because with their fire superiority, they'll be able to any enemy target that they can spot, they can also kill. And driving off the scouts and the ITOs with the artillery actually, but an HA Abrams is already coming in to reinforce. So controlled well enough and supported on the sides with the infantry and the Bradleys, a single HA Abrams should be able to fight against the blobbed T-80Us. We'll see who is going to be able to get the. And then the HA Abrams, actually, the HA Abrams leader is moving in the Citadel to envelop and open up a different angle against Sleepy Joe's attack. And in a couple of moments, Cheech will likely be able to get contestation on the zone again. But currently, points wise, it is pretty even though the tactical situation is massively in Cheech's favor.
Yeah, TAD, BVK, and UD moving around. Conquerors trying to deal with the M1A1HA. M1A1HA rotating back now, as we have more BTRs coming in from the rear. Mr. B artillery piece on the battlefield now as well, so both sides having some howitzers, though Jesus' one is a self-propelled one, which in a counter-battery duel is the better choice. M1A1CP goes down in the north, TADUD there with a great find. ATGM finding a side shot on the TADU though! So both sides losing a heavy tank there in a matter of seconds, and this is really big as the second TADUD falls to the M1A1HA as well. This is devastating blows here now. Good start, and then it went all south. The TAD BVK not getting a crit here on the TAD, the M1A1HA, but now the second one does miss. M1A1HA finds the hit, so yeah, devastating losses here for Proletary, who already was behind on the ground, and this is putting them so far behind in the heavy armored department. The Bradley there with an important side shot with the TOW 2, really showing the power of those ATGMs.
Yeah, there's a single advantage for the T-80s against the Abrams, and that is the autoloader, and that is the fact that even after getting low cohesion, getting suppressed, the Soviet tanks keep up their rate of fire. And this in close ranges, and when you're in groups, and when you're pushing and you're trying to break through enemy tanks, that can actually be a very powerful ability. Even though in real life you should all have the extra crew member. In real life, autoloaders kind of suck. But in the game, they can be pretty good. But when it comes to the engagement, basically going against a max range HA Abrams concave that's supported by large amounts of Bradleys, yeah, the autoloaders are not going to do it for you here, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Saperis and Spesnats trying to push in, trying to deal with the fire team and co up here. The SU-27's getting a kill, but some more stinger shots, getting the kill on the SU-27 as well. Staying a bit too deep in enemy territory there for a bit too long, and that means another terrible trade. TAD-BVK going down as well. That's another terrible trade, and the situation is deteriorating quickly here for Proletary on the ground. Sheesh is already up in points, brings another M1A1CP, and the infantry fights here. Saperis trying to push through the town, but the Bradleys in great positions to help out with fire support. Helicopters can't really engage because the Chaparrals and Stingers are in good positions as well. Conquerors might find the one in the north, gets the kill there, but still not the greatest of positions here.
Yeah, so far, I mean, Sleepy Joe is not so much back on points, but so behind on trades. The BMP, the infantry being sent to the BMP once is a big tempo hit, and means that when both sides are bringing out infantry, and bring out reinforcements. If they both come in the same speed, that means that there is no advantage for the one who is behind on points and behind on the build up. And even with the BMP ones, there are no targets for them. Anything on the board here can just kill the BMP ones. So you really is, you're just paying 40 points to have your troops arrive slower than if they were in a truck.
Yeah, the Motostralkis.
And that bailout on a, I gotta do it. The bailout on the T-ATU, but this is sad.
Yeah, this is really, really tough. M1A1HA can now just finish that off. Nothing here to protect
this
that.
is a tragedy.
Another
This
one.
is a tragedy of the maximum scale.
Yeah, another TDU on the way, but this game is just deteriorating quickly here for Proletary. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a tap out soon, as once the infantry in the town here is cleared. Yeah, there we go. Proletary tapping out of this game number 1. It wasn't supposed to be interesting heavy tank fights here, but sheesh. Yeah, once more showing that they are really proficient with heavy tank divisions. Have seen them a lot on 1st UK, have seen it on 5th Panzer, have seen them on 79th. 3rd US, I don't think we have seen too many Cheech games yet, but here we go. Another good one, another strong one, another convincing victory. And Proletary here, yeah, cool opener, but it just didn't work out at all. And then a couple of unfortunate moments, but also just so well played there from Cheech. Those kills on the TDUs, so important. You don't want to have a ball of those against you. And then, yeah, the GG here at this moment. Absolutely justified. And we will see if Cheech can keep that up for game number 2 in this best of 3 game.
Yeah, the overinvestment on air, when a player like Cheech is allowed to play their preferred game, they have their opener, they have their strat, and then nothing is countering their strat because of the overinvestment into air. And that meant that at every point of the game, Cheech had superiority when it came to the units on board. If the SU-2024 had managed to open up the game by taking out a leader Abrams or something like that, if the pacing of the game wouldn't have meant that the 2 extra SU-27s were hanging in the back, and instead of those planes existing as tanks on the ground, something could have changed. But 119th has no fat around the muscle. They don't have anything to support. They don't have any extra. They need to win with what they have on the board. They cannot afford to take losses. And that is why one of the reasons why 119th is considered to be a weak division.
Yeah. That's why Even Blaze put it into seed here in the latest. And he has played this division a lot. Unlike the first UK, I think, where he puts them into seed here, maybe a bit unjustifiably so. The one on Warn 90 absolutely justified. Though Vertigo is their one good map, I would say, but it didn't work out this time. So yeah, short break, guys. Then we're gonna be back with map number 2. And yeah, see you all there. Quick break. So here we go, everybody. Game number 2. Sheesh is up 1-0. And once more, it's Pact versus NATO. So this time it's 2 different divisions, as we have Cheech on 3rd US. And we have Proletary here on 27th Guards. With an interesting setup here for Mount River. Both divisions have strong tanks. Both divisions have solid infantry, though the infantry of 8 is superior, but it doesn't have IFVs, whilst 27th has some of the best IFVs in the game, BMP3s and BMP2s, so this is really interesting here. And yeah, let's see. What do you think about the 27th setup so far?
So traditionally, when 27th was pushed up, the Spetsnaz Vedka units were airborne deployment, and currently they're only recon deployment. And but with the BTRs, they're very fast, and people used to use them, especially on the lower levels, as kind of assault units. They didn't realize that the 27th was supposed to be played slowly, and they would aggro Spetsnaz Vedka, and then lose the games because Petrosvedka are too expensive and too valuable in the late game to be sacrificed in early pushes, despite having kind of all right stats with the RPG 26s and 8-man squads. But on this map here, I think actually it can be value from Sleepy Joe's side to take these crucial positions and hold them with these large ground surveillance radar units, because being able to spot the enemy on long range with these in this middle here is a very very powerful boon for you, especially with the towers that give you amazing line of visibility all around the map. And with the force Petrosvedka opener, that is a lot of points being spent into this, but as long as these Petrosvedka aren't sent to die against a helicopter or something, I think they might actually have a pretty good chance here to gain an early position for Sleepy Joe. Cheech doesn't have anything equivalent. They have the LRS, and the LRS are actually special forces and do have special forces level weapons, but they are not being sent into a similar kind of mission here. They're being deployed very, very defensively, actually. And when it comes to standard infantry fights, the Rasvedka BMP2s and the BMP3s need to be positioned in a way that anytime the Spetsnazvedka are going to be fighting the superior American squads, the Soviet fire support needs to be engaging them at the same time. Even if you don't get the kills against the 11-man mech rifles, if the mech rifles get pushed back, if the mech rifles get damaged, if the mech rifles need to be resupplied, that allows Sleepy Joe to keep buying very good defensive vehicles, such as the BRDM Conquerors M, the best Soviet missiles, the T-80BVs, one of the best tanks in the game, especially on defense. It's slower than the Abrams, but it has a autoloader, it has more armor, and it has a missile. And of course, the BMP3, the most HE damage and the not the best ATGM infantry fighting vehicle, but the fastest ATGM infantry fighting vehicle.
Yeah, on the other side, we have a lot of infantry here coming out of Chish, with a lot of mech rifles and engineers and military police moving mostly towards Papa and Alpha. So X-Ray seems to be an afterthought for now. 2 snipers with a really interesting mission in the far south, as they are both supposed to go really far behind enemy lines. And one of those even makes me question if that sniper has enough fuel to make it the whole long way there, as it is supposed to go once across the whole spawning area of Proletary here and try to get into a tower in the other side of the map. We'll see if that works out, as the game has started now. A lot of infantry on both sides. Once more, a start without tanks in this one, though we obviously have a couple of BMPs and BTRs here around on the side of Proletary, whilst on the other side it's really just infantry and AT.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see if the snipers do have the fuel for this, because we've seen players go into enemy backlines and position recon at these silo towers, and they have been game winning. The info that has been given to players from this has been just gigantic, and I'm excited to see if this works out and maybe becomes a meta. So Cheech here is sending the mass of the infantry actually away from the X-ray. They're being sent into push the north. So the Spetsnazvedka have been able to gain this without a fight, the X-ray position. But in case I think it's possible to use the X-ray position to create kind of a concave to fight against enemy infantry trying to push up north, especially when you have the BMP3s with the capacity to fire long range with their HE guns. But I think the sheer shock of having this many infantry units push up north might be too much. There doesn't really seem to be any units in position to be able to counter this. And so the Spetsnazvedka are going to have to fight on their own this.
Great play though in the south by Proletary here. 2 BTR-80s overwhelming the engineered dragons before they can get into the buildings, and there is no short range AT. One of the big weaknesses of the scouts of the Americans, they don't have any AT weapons, and that means those BTR-80s just rolling over the infantry here, cleaning up the engineered dragons, cleaning up the stingers, cleaning up the supply vehicle, and now also cleaning up the scouts, and that is leaving the whole south completely open here for Proletary. Engagement's now starting in the north, but there a BTR-80 already took out a sniper team as well. Engineered Dragon, the next victim here. And those BTR-80s really paying off big time. And really making their... showing why they are 35 points, even though they only have 2 frontal armor and no autocannon. Because, yeah, they are fast, they can deal with infantry well, and they have smoke as well, so they can get out of a unfortunate situation relatively easily as well.
Yeah, so 27th doesn't have amazing amount of air supremacy fighters or in the air type, but they do get 2 cards of ASF, both the MiG-29 as the MiG-23, and one of those cards needs to be brought out to stop the Cobra. Unless the 250 cal BTRs manage to ambush the Cobra, I think they're going to be done here. And then actually an A1 Abrams being sent out to the south. So this would really be a position for, we can actually, the air supremacy fighters are actually out here for Sleepy Joe already.
Yeah, Proletary here coming out with the double MiG.
Okay, yeah, but the snipers actually do seem to have enough fuel to push through this. Yet to push to the back line. Proletary's reinforcements, Pulamachiki and BMP2 leader are coming really slowly. So the Abrams seems to be enough to stop this without any, unless some plays are being brought out from the eastern side here.
Yeah, any Hind or plane though could hit that quite well, and there's nothing here right now to scout for the M1A1, so more units need to be brought in here in the south, meaning that push in the north is slowed down. Motostraki Medi's there. Actually might find a side shot. Yeah, find a side shot against an M1A1. That one is really crippled now. BTR-80s engaging the mech rifles further up north. Smoke coming around and smoking off the Spetsnaz Redka infantry there, starting to push in there as mech rifles on the side of Chish here, sitting around as more and more smoke landing all around there. Engineers and MP Patrol slowly getting on top of the Spetsnaz Redka, but we have a +5 here right now for Proletary. So Proletary really on a good way to shortcutting this game, and especially if that capture of Oscar is happening, that would be devastating. Chish hasn't captured the rear zone in the north, hasn't captured any zone in the north, so CV only now coming in, and that +5 is already a 300 point advantage as of now. MiG-27 HE coming in as well, so that push in the north is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, do you think that there's been an overinvestment into the infantry? Because the large infantry squads are really good, of course, when it comes to infantry versus infantry fights, but you do pay extra for them. And now with the Abrams being disabled by the, or pushed back by the Motostraki Metis, the mech rifles don't really seem to have enough of kind of the explosive potential, the fast-moving potential, and they're going to be pushed into these small, tactically disadvantageous positions where they can be methodically engaged by the BMPs whenever Proletary wants that to happen. And but meanwhile, Proletary is investing a lot into the push down south, trying to counter this Abrams and Scout. And so far, the tank advantage going heavily into Cheech's favor. But I think that this tank advantage might be countered by the Su-17 M4, which is an excellent tank killer coming from the eastern side. And every 270 points getting spent into an Abrams is not being spent into support units. It's not being spent into something else. So over-investment into certain categories can be very damaging if the opponent possesses a hard counter to this unit. And here we're seeing the AT plane
Oh, it misses
Missed, but-
twice in the south. That is pretty crucial
Ah.
here. BMP 2K moving towards the zone in the south as well. We still have a +3 situation due to X-Ray being captured and the CV in the north not being in yet. Mech Rifle Leader trying to come up there. We have more Mech Rifles and Engineers pushing in up north. Artillery could be really helpful there to help against the Pulumachikis and BMP2s. +4 situation is real. The south getting captured now, that might lead to a +5 for a second, +4 in the long run, and that is a really real take here, 160 points per minute. So the situation for Chish not comfortable right now. Can move on further in the north though, as the next zone already has been cleared out as well. That would reduce it to a +2 here. And then potentially even can go all the way to Bravo here, though there is a decent amount of infantry by now in the way there.
Yeah, the investment of infantry up north with the Rangers even up there right now, and the wounded squads getting healed. Cheech seems to have complete superiority with the forces, but the M1 Acacia, a Grad maybe, these units could actually be very crucial. And because I mean, there's 30 minutes left on this game. How many times can a Grad fire at this tightly packed infantry before you start feeling like in the duration of the 30-minute game? But so far, both of the snipers are. One of the snipers has been spotted by the T-80BV, but another one is close to two of these crucial towers that kind of offer you amazing info on enemy reinforcements. Info on enemy reinforcements is very important in this game because that'll allow you to pre-buy the counters and give you a significant edge in the late game.
Yeah, MiG-27 HE coming in around with an interesting pattern. Drops on the wrong building though. If it would have dropped on the middle one, all units around it would have taken damage. Gets a decent kill, but gets pushed out. The sniper is off Cheech. One of them got found. The other one made it into the rear. Meanwhile, in the south, we have the +4 situation here for the 27th. The Spetsnaz moving around. We have M109s slowly moving in here now for Cheech as well. Gets the CV in the north in now, so at least reducing it to a +2. But this needs to get a counterattack solidly on the ground in the south here in the next couple of minutes. Mech Rifles and Mech Rifle Leader are here now. We have an M1A1. So it is absolutely possible to clear that town again and get it back to a 0-0 in point tick. But it needs to be done relatively soon, otherwise the advantage here might be too big. And then maybe set up for a big push either towards Bravo or towards X-Ray from the north. I feel like Cheech's position, if the north can get captured soon, isn't that bad here right now.
Yeah, and the south, there has been a build-up of troops down south, including support units with mortars, and the M110 is firing at the tower in which the Spetsnaz and Pulumachiki are currently holding. And now that if the M110 hits a couple of good hits, the infantry fighters here will be immediately going for Cheech. The M110 on this close range possesses amazing accuracy, and now we're seeing the hits come in. And yeah, it's immediate. First hit stunning, second hit doing massive damage, and these Soviet units are wounded, they're stressed out, and then gonna need to take different positions. On close range, the Mech Rifles Law with their light support weapons, which are machine guns that can be fired while on the move, are going to be very efficient.
Yeah, M110 coming around, trying to hit the Conquerors. Trying to hit the Conquerors with that, whilst we have good amount of mech rifles pushing towards Spetsnaz and Pulumachiki in the south. M1A1 helping out there. The counter push in the south is going decently so far, so that might help with the situation. Though at the same time, Su-17AT coming in again. AA in the south, not that great yet. We have an F-16 coming in though. That might stabilize the situation there. Double MiG-23, MiG-29 on the other side. One Chaparral is closing in there, so the F-16 has to be careful, has to stay behind the Chaparral and let that get a hit or two. Double M110 now on the ground. The long game here looks really solid for Cheesh. The question is that an overextension there with the F-16, and can the M1A1 get killed off? Yes, it can. So the southern situation once more in trouble here for Cheesh, and we might see once more counter push here from Proletary as a T-80BV is arriving on the front line.
Yeah, we're seeing Cheech actually up north do a smoke push against the weaker defenses, fortified defenses of Proletary, and the back point of 2-point back point of Bravo is very rarely pushed. But I think when it comes to having this line of Abrams back here and having strong enough infantry squads that you can keep up these fights, we bringing out the fast Abrams and high accuracy, high damage Abrams to take out singular enemy tanks, and then try to close range push with Rangers and Engineers behind smoke on every other position. Seems to it's a very standard basic level 8th infantry strategy that, well executed, seems to be very powerful.
DBV pushing around in the north as the counterattack here from Cheesh is now really real. Cheesh trying to go for the Bravo point, which would turn this game around a lot. M110s can help out of that. So yeah, Proletary needs to hold the line here. M1A1 trying to rotate around. Saperis and go trying to hold the line. Rangers pushing in there as well. M1A1 opening up onto the Saperis. They might be able to get through here, but the T-80BV is in a really good spot. Hind coming in as well. We have a T-8M, a unit that we see really seldom because the Vickers of this plane somehow not really firing fast enough because they use the same fire rate as the helicopter one, which is not really great for a plane, ATGM plane, which only has a short time on target. So a bit of a problem there. Gets pushed back immediately by AT as well. It seems like Cheesh might be on the way through in the north. How is the situation in the south developing? We have an M1A1 coming in here, so potentially stabilizing. Though, oh my god, that BMP2 action on the lake, starting to hunt the M110s. That could be devastating. The boating is real.
Yeah, I'm sorry, there's some work stuff coming up here, but yeah. So far the engagement, the Saperi have been able to fight and trade against the American infantry, but they're going to have to retreat now because there's just way more depth coming from the Western attack. And the smoke here being used in both to isolate the T-80BV and to give cover for the reinforcements. Smoke works very well with large infantry squads because the smoke will buy you a certain amount of ground, and then let's be fair, the bodies of the 11 guys will buy you another piece of land. So when you get into the position, you are actually in a fighting shape with these mech rifle smoke pushers. And if you have engineers or rangers there, they can do amazing close range damage to anything that is not a specialized close range unit.
Yeah, artillery coming in for the ITO. The northern push is still hold off. And the south, we have a bit of a stalemate. BMP-2 now coming on top of the M110, getting a good couple of hits. M110 trying to disengage, but it is a relatively slow vehicle, especially once stunned down. And you're like, oh, the BMP-2 not able to find a kill there. Really unfortunate with that last gun salvo. So the M110 actually able to drive away. Cobra above it as well now, so it might not be able to follow. Really fortunate times there for Cheesh. Quick reaction as well. And yeah, saving the situation there. M1A1 on the way in. Cobra trying to find the perpetrator there as well now. Though it might have to be careful with flying directly over the BMP-2. As that autocannon, yeah, the 30mm autocannon is scary. And the Cobra this time around, the one that is a bit unfortunate. And we have a GG situation here with it seems like Proletary taking the win. 1,200 points in. I'm not quite sure what happened there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the kill ratio, it seems pretty obvious. I mean, the 2-to-1 KDR.
Oh, it
Is
was an M1A1 dying there to a BMP2 AG.
Yeah,
And then some
I
shot
actually
balancing as well.
I didn't comment on it because I didn't see that, but I saw that there was an A1 killed down south. So was there another M1 also killed up north in a
No,
similar
no,
situation?
but the southern one was key for this whole gameplay purpose here right now. The northern push not working out. Yeah, the 2-to-1 KD. So yeah, the tap out makes sense at that point. AA dying off as well, so planes could have been devastating there too as the chaparrals went down. So yeah, it was a weird moment for the moment where we looked at the map right now there, as the MR10 actually made the escape, but yeah, the rest of the map was not doing so hot there, and the big disadvantage in points plus the big disadvantage in KD. It makes absolute sense here to tap out at that moment. And yeah, we'll see if Cheech can bring it around here and finish off Proletary in the decider game, or if Proletary can use the momentum here now. Really hot game of the 27th. Really, really strong play, especially in the south. Those BTRs just rolling over stuff in the early games. Highly underutilized, those BTR 80s. And a really strong show here from Proletary in this game too.
Yeah, you should never underestimate the power of being able to both smoke in a Dragon missile or an ATGM missile, and then quickly drive under its minimum range of 350 meters, because if there are no other no other units present, the BTR will just get a free kill. Even if it's an 11-man squad or 10-man squad, BTR will get a free kill if it can get under the minimum range. And aggressively used, they can take you amazing ground, and microed aggressively, they can also kill key units and create these opportunities for your heavier tanks to reliably push through. And we saw some very very smart BTR play here, and you need to play with them to get back the investment of 35 points per. But they also have 2 machine guns and 1 armor, so enemy 50 cal armed vehicles can't kill it. They can trade against them.
Yeah, and that leads us to a decider game here once more. So I'm quite excited for that one, as this is the last match of today's cast, guys. So yeah, quick break, guys. Then we're gonna be back with Cheech versus Proletary, the final game of the day, and the final decider for Division 2's quarterfinals for the last slot in the semifinals here between these two players. Thanks for the follow there, Zulu Cobra, and yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. Quick break, then we're gonna be back with game number 3. 3, 2, 1, go. So here we go, everybody. The final game of today, the final game of the quarterfinals, Cheech versus Proletary, and we have a NATO versus NATO fight this time, as we have on the right side Airborne Division with 82nd Airborne, and on the left side with Cheech the 30S once more, which worked out quite nicely in game number 1. Obviously, pretty different division formations here. And yeah, once more, this is Division 2. They don't take a big share out of the prize pool, but thanks to all of your support, guys, on Matcherino, they by now take $25 out of the prize pool as well for the first place. And whoever makes it into the semifinals is automatically qualified for Division 1 next season as well. So that is a big thing to fight over here as well. Making it into the big leagues, making it into the big money as well with that. So let's see how this all goes with Cheech here on the left side. Though it is 30US, coming out with a lot of Humvees with infantry inside.
Yeah, the Humvees are of course 108 kph, which road speed, which is max road speed infantry. So they get deployed in the best way possible. They are the same speed as BTRs and VABs, and faster than trucks. Outside of the one French truck that actually has a bit more speed, but the recon truck with a 50 cal. But so far, surprisingly infantry heavy. Well, is it really a surprising number? Saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 infantry units? I would call that an infantry heavy opener from cheat here. A lot of with the Bradley, with the and the Abrams here, as well as the 2 Chaparrals. I think Cheech is not investing a lot into any air here. Also, Cheech so far doesn't seem to have another command vehicle, so getting Papa could maybe take some time, giving some free points for Sleepy Joe. And whereas the airborne are investing heavily into airborne engineers, both the small squads with the napalm launchers, the flash, as well as the regular airborne engineers with the satchel chargers that are amazingly effective when they're at touching distance of enemy infantry, and very little support. There's a single AB tow, some scouts, but outside of that, very little support coming from the airborne, which in my mind speaks of a heavy investment into air that hasn't yet been revealed.
Engineers and airborne here coming around. Airborne coming in the north as well. And yeah, the action is going on. Oscar is given up by Cheech completely, which is kind of wise. Yeah, because you can't really fight everywhere on the map as well with 3rd US in the early game as you can do it with 80 seconds. So taking those engagements would most likely not go out so well. At the same time, though, Cheech pushing in north with engineers and the M1A1 double chaparral as anti-helicopter and anti-plane. And we have potentially, hopefully, a CV coming into the south soon. The Bradley there with the fireteam law, making sure that Papa has some defense. As the current +3 here for Proletary is a decent advantage. And another CV already on the way, so Cheech needs to put something against that relatively soon here. First CV for the north. Will we see one in the south as well? Yes. So double CV here from Cheech now with the first minute tick to stabilize the front line, stop the tick from going too out of hands, and we'll see what Cheech can do with the counter push here in the north that is now coming in.
Yeah, we'll see the Humvees are getting sold in droves, and the Humvees are not just fast to be deployed, but they're also fast to be sold, which means that both these players having these transports being sold, the transports pay themselves back and will increase the tempo, increase the amount of points that the players have in their disposal right in the moment here. And I think that will likely lead to some heavy investments. We're seeing an Apache rocket come from Proletary, and probably something to support that right after these Humvees are getting sold.
Yeah, CV moving around there. And one 5-1 Mud in the south now coming in as well. It's +5 for the split second here for Proletary, even a +6 there for a couple of seconds, but that is going to go down to a +2, which is manageable here for 3rd US. 3rd US is expected to be a bit behind in the early game, giving the enemy a slight point lead that is just absolutely normal, especially against an airborne division. But we already have the first couple of CAF vehicles here coming around, the combat engineering vehicle with the big 165mm HE gun that can smash infantry units really quickly, stressing them out with the first hit. Stinger trying to defend against the Apache #1 that is coming out here as well, so it's a hard defense here for Proletary in the north. LAV and a couple of infantry units, but the setup here for Cheech looks quite strong. Question is, will we see a deep push from Proletary in the south, or will they try to just hold Zulu and Oscar for the rest of the game?
So far, it seems like the investment is going up to the decisive battle meta up north. The 2 Apaches, one of them, the Rocket Apache, got shot. The second one supporting it, the ATGM Apache, with 16 Hellfire missiles, which is a big amount, in my opinion, personally. I know controversial takes out here, but these 2,800 meter laser guided Hellfire missiles are unique because they're not unique, but the laser homing trait has the unique trait of also being accurate in motion. So even if the Apache sees something, the Apache can start moving, and there's still a significant chance that the Hellfire hits. And considering that the Apache has such a massive range of 2.8K, it's way less likely that something actually does get to hit it.
Yeah, we saw the first F-16 dying already as well, though. So Cheese AA really holding strong, and oh my goodness, it's just getting stronger. 5 Stingers. Yeah, really doesn't want to give Apaches and F-16s any chance for doing any harm. Meanwhile, bringing in the artillery, that's a standard way of how to break airborne divisions in the mid and long run. Just killing off their strong ATGM and infantry positions with artillery, destroying the building, maybe on the way doing that as well, giving better line of sights over the rubble for your tanks and IFVs. And the situation in the north is a rather stable one here. Yeah, Fireteam 84 being pushed back there, smoke coming in, mortar actually using HE shells there, trying to do some damage. And we have a couple of LAVs now coming up north as well. They can shred infantry. They have an amazing Bushmaster on a fast little tracked vehicle, double MG as well. But they have to be careful against any Bradley, against any M1A1 getting line of sight on them, because then they're gonna die really, really quickly.
Yeah, I think the LAVs might actually serve their purpose mostly as recon here, considering the only other recon here are the Humvee trucks and the snipers, and both the ATGM Apache as well as the incoming Humvee tows need to have somebody spotting for them if they're gonna be wanna be able to fight for anything here, really. And surprisingly, Proletary actually smoking this position that is generally held by blue troops, but actually ending up covering the advance of Cheech.
Yeah. Engineer Flash coming around, Apache ATGM and Apache Rocket both retreated to the rear, as there's just too many Stingers around here, and we have a big push here now coming in from Cheech, with the infantry and the vehicles slowly moving forward. The smoke of Proletary, though, it's a cool idea here, trying to separate infantry and tanks of Cheech from each other, stopping the infantry getting fire support from the vehicles there. And you don't want to run in with just your infantry as 3rd US. They are all half strength squads, or most of them are. You have a couple of engineers, but the other side has a lot of airborne units that already have shock trade, so they're better than you in CQC anyways. And then they also have a lot of 10-man hit point squads, which will beat you even harder. And this is...
And they have a free veterancy, the airborne. Airborne can't be taken at 0 vet, only at 1 vet. Minimum.
Yeah.
We're seeing the methodical, decisive battle meta play out here. The smoke mortars getting pushed into these specific sight lines, large amounts of troops being concentrated. Cheech knows that 82nd does not have something like a rocket artillery, something like the baby grads here, or just any kind of rocket artillery here could be massive. But with that threat not existing, that allows the US to take these kind of traditional line infantry formations here, supported by MP patrols of all units. MP patrols, the M65s have the recoilless rifles, which have 1,400 meter range, bad accuracy and bad penetration, but they can fire at infantry squads. Those the MP patrols are working as fire support in addition to the CEVs and the Bradleys and the Abrams. Maximum fire support coming here.
And the CEVs finding one airborne engineer immediately drops to 4 hit points here. That really shows you how much fire support there is here for Cheech. What I'm a bit surprised by is that the M109 hasn't fired a single shot yet. It could and should fire away freely, as it can't really be counter-batteried. And for example, sniping the enemy mortar here that keeps annoying you with that smoke would be really, really helpful. And yeah, it hasn't fired a single shot yet, so that's a bit of waste of points and a waste of time here as well. Bradleys and M1A1 though finding another great target here, another airborne dragon being hit down to 1 hit point. So the push of Cheesh might start to get through here. We see a lot of engineers now coming in as well. So those are the 10 hit point units that you get as 30US. They're 0 vet, so they won't be the strongest, but they can for sure help getting a foothold here into this town.
Yeah, if you look at the range of the Apache ATGM, they are right, but just a couple of meters. The tanks are just a couple of meters from the Apache's firing range, and we have to remember that even with the Cheech having this massive fire superiority in here, both the shock trades and the heavy amount of airborne engineers, well, firing their flashes right now, stunning fire teams. And all of these fire teams and engineers from Cheech are going to have to get into these positions where they currently, for the moment, don't have the vehicle support. Vehicles are driving in right there, taking out the side defense airborne dragon, and now it would be time for the Apache to start taking some risks here.
Yeah, it already fired its first couple of Hellfires. One of the Bradleys might get killed. Yes, first Bradley going down there. M1A1 gets the zone captured, so the tick will stop here in a split second. But the infantry fight for the engineers won't be an easy one here. The vehicles not having really much line of sight for fire support. F-16, oh my goodness, that was a good hit. It will go down as the Stinger forest behind us is really strong, but it bought the Proletary a bit more time, and Proletary is in a decent advantage with 900 points, though it's still 30 minutes to play, so a lot of time here for Cheesh to turn that around, but it won't be easy here to break through this infantry position with that one ATGM Apache behind that can fire away freely on any vehicle that gets just a bit too far forward.
Yeah, an airborne Stinger hitting the quick fix instead of hitting the Cobra here, and spotting the Stingers for the Cobra as well. Cobra firing a full salvo now against the Stinger, reloading, as well as the airborne engineers. The rockets doing massive damage into the units and buildings. And so far, very few losses of Cheech when it comes to vehicles. So as long as the vehicle blob stays uncontested, I think this is going to lean on Cheech's side, even though Cheech doesn't have endless supplies of infantry in the same way that Proletary has. The infantry really just kind of has to be there. The fighting capacity is in the mech blob, or not even the blob. This is a mech front here.
Yeah, we still don't have an have the M109 firing though, and all the infantry has been cleaned out for now. The engineers and the military police maybe pushing in a bit too early after the engineers got hit there with the LGB bomber that got killed out of. Maybe she should have retreated with the rest of the infantry units and wait for a new reset, because currently nothing in this town here is spotted. M109 finally starts firing, starts to engage some infantry there in the building up north. We still have more mortars coming around with smoke here though. One of them actually being affected by the quick fixes debuff, though that doesn't play too much of a role for mortars anyways. And yeah, the M109 finally starting to find some value here. Airborne Dragon under fire. Need to disengage as the artillery comes in for them, putting them on to 1 hit point. Most likely not quite able to find the kill there. Yeah, Airborne Dragons able to disengage. Recapture here of the northern point. And I feel like Cheesh maybe should just flank around heavily around the town through the south or the north. The north already is kind of open, because grinding through the town against all these airbornes will be a tough task.
Yeah, the mortar fire here from the airborne actually might be a really worthwhile, considering how much troops are concentrated into these small blocks of buildings, and currently the artilleries, the mortars are firing just a bit too north to do any real damage here, and with continuing reinforcement. Oh no, now we have the 105mm howitzers, the heaviest artillery that the airborne get. They're also coming in here. They're light howitzers. The caliber is weaker than what you would expect, but when it comes to destroying participate large salvo length.
and they're cheap, fast firing.
Yeah, M109 now starting to counter battery here. Might or should get the kill onto the mortar most likely here. So far it's a bit too far away and doesn't have accurate shots, so the hit's not landing yet. But yeah, there we go. Final one does the job, gets the kill. So one of the mortars taken out. Second M109 is coming in here with some fire towards the town as well, and the smoke is real here. The 107mm mortars of Proletary here really doing their job, just keeping the whole front line smoked, keeping the vehicles from engaging, and keeping the +1 going up for now. OH-8A helicopters were an interesting idea here by Proletary, but they just die one shot to Stingers, so a bit of a misinvestment here, as they are relatively cheap, but not for free for sure, with 60 points, and they have died all but one, and they haven't achieved anything here yet for Proletary, so a weird investment for sure, and it doesn't really pay off at all.
Yeah, I think the idea here was that you would have this group of helis that can go out there and take out the enemy quick fix or take out the enemy Cobra, or they do get Apaches on 3rd Armored, right? So even take out the enemy Apache. But so far, the misinvestment part comes from the fact that at that point, Proletary did know that there is a wide front of anti-heli AA.
Yeah, the M109 taking out another mortar, the last mortar being targeted now as well, so the big smoke screens about to disappear off the map, which is going to help Cheesh moving with the vehicles into attack positions a good bit. But so far, Proletary holding on to the town in the infantry fights quite well. Those airborne units really doing a good job. Scout getting killed off by the LAV. The movement in the town really strong. And the 105mm artillery pieces now starting to target Cheesh's units as well. And try to bring some damage there. We have the first couple of Sheridans on the battlefield. They are not really tanks. They are more like a big gun IFV. They only have 3 frontal armor, so less even than some Bradleys. And a gun that doesn't really penetrate tanks well either, and an ATGM that is worse than a Bradley's ATGM. But they can do good infantry support with that big HE damage out of their main gun.
Yeah, I would like to point out that the artillery was targeted. The 105 artillery from airborne is firing at this building, which generally holds the recon units, the scouts. But very smartly, Cheech actually does not have the scouts in that building, but on the tree line right next to them. And this likely saved the fact that the southern or the southwest corner of Cheech's army that did not lose their recon just a couple of seconds ago. So it was very, very smart little move there, predicting the enemy going to counter it or to fire it.
Yeah, we see M1A1s coming in the north. And the town still full of infantry. So M109s and Co would have a lot to do there. The +1 is still real. 22 minutes to play though, so no massive threat when it comes to the points just yet for Cheesh, but obviously wants to start getting a tick maybe on them on their own. The south actually super weak defended here, only a couple of airborne engineers and a TOW 2, so a big quick swing south could recapture that zone as well, but Cheesh currently fully locked in on the northern route to victory, and we will see if Proletary, with the lack of heavy tanks, can keep on holding against this. Counter battery now against the 105mm artillery pieces. They have 8 hit points, so they can survive a bit of counter battery fire, but direct hits still hurt them quite a bit, and 2 of them really low. One of them might go down as the artillery keeps on coming in. Yeah, one of the 105mm getting taken out already. The 109s doing their job here. Bradleys and M1A1s rotating south as well. So this is going to be interesting here too, as there is a couple of dragons, there is the Sheridans, and the scouts not really spotting that. First Bradley going down, good movement there.
Yeah, that's why I have the Abrams go first, so they can tank out the first ATGMs. And but I agree that the South is really badly defended here. But anytime any kind of an attack from Cheech would probably just be a good target for the Apaches and the 4 Apaches now on board here for Proletaric. So if Cheech wanted to push south, they would also have to invest into the heavy AA defense of the south, because having just like 2 Chaparrals is not enough to destroy 4 Apaches when these Apaches are on defense and can spot you.
Yeah, you would have to bring heavy AA, as the air superiority would be hard fought for as well. So, like, you either would have to bring in the Eagles of 3rd US, or, yeah, as you said, a decent amount of AA. Phantom here coming in with an HE run, but we have the Phantoms AAs of Proletary coming in on the hunt. They get the kill, so HE Phantom not really paying off super well. Trying to come in with another run though. More hitting its own units, and most likely gonna get killed for that as well. Phantoms of Proletary not flying over the Stinger Forest, and with the turnaround here, they should be able to get the kill there. Yeah, both HE Phantoms down. A couple of Bradleys and fire teams going down as well. So this push through here is pretty expensive, though it seems to work out, and it stops the tick. Now, the next defensive line is the one in front of Alpha here. Alpha, a +2 zone, so capturing that would get a lot of points for Cheech relatively quickly. But there is by now a decent defensive line here with a lot of tow missiles in there as well.
Yeah, and very importantly, have the Chaparrals and Stingers moved forward. The Stingers, they actually are just doing that. And anytime your mech blob or your troops, that currently all of these vehicles, they are hard fought, they're wounded, they are at risk. This would be the position for the air counter-strike to take out a couple of expensive tanks here, and the Chaparrals getting brought here into the front line, even though it's risky. I think it's riskier to go without them.
Oh.
And a massive side shot into the command Abrams from the Humvee tow. The quick fix not spotting it because the Humvee tow has good stealth. The scouts just not in position there. Just what a tragedy here for Cheech. Chaparral's getting a little payback by taking out the F-1680 though.
Yeah, but yeah, losing the CV there, bit unfortunate. There is another M1 A1 CV already there though, and that is pushing out in with a lot of infantry. The only issue that one has is that it lacks AA. But yeah, killing off the Humvee tow as well, taking revenge for its brethren there. So that position is still not going to be easily held here for Proletary. Airborne scouts running into the fireteam blob that is around there with a lot of veterancy, thanks to the tank leader right next to it. And they have double MGs, so the airborne scouts here getting eliminated quite quickly. The Humvee tow in trouble as well. Chaparral's pushing in there. Oh, but the Humvee tow might get some important last kills here against the Chaparral, who only gets a stun. Can the engineers and fire teams... The fire team law is not pushing forward. Why aren't they not trying to get the law shot there? That is a mistake. M1A1 finds the kill though. Saves the Chaparrals for now. HE bomber coming in though. But it misses. Good dodge there by Cheech. Nice stop. M1A1 disengages as well. Good micro there. Really important kills here lately, and more importantly, no losses on the side of Cheech here in these last couple of engagements.
Yeah, but looking at the northern infantry push here, there is no AA close by, and this is Apache country now. All the infantry are having to run back, realizing that the Apaches have moved in to defend them. Chaparrals are moving in with the tanks, so they are going to challenge to try to push the AA net further east. And so far, I think one of the things you really want to commend Cheech for is the how they managed to play around the Apaches existing here, and not taking any risks, and always building up a strong enough and wide enough front of AA so that it can't be sniped out by the artillery, smoked out by the mortars, or anything like that.
Yeah, Chaparrals, one of them losing a duel against the Apache. as the ATGMs here are real. That's why you want to have Stingers around here as well. Stingers can't be shot at by Hellfires. Hellfire versus Chaparral is always a bit of a toss-up. Chaparral being the one with the slightly better chances there, but still a risky one nonetheless. And 109's trying to hit the Humvee toe. Getting some damage, but not getting the kill. And yeah, more Stingers might need to push up here. Chaparrals it is instead, as more of those coming around. The engineers here still not able to get into Alpha, as there's just a bit too many Apaches and a bit too little AA close by.
Yeah, do you think that the strategy of a super wide front is really the best idea for Cheech here? Because the stronger units of Cheech are getting concentrated into this single forest push, and this really wide front allows both the Sheridans, the defenders' recon advantage, and the Apaches to kind of may possibly even cut out this force here. And I know that there aren't really that many options for Cheech to push, and of course Cheech wants to have a coherent battle group here because of course the units all need to support each other against the fast-moving airborne units. But really, I think this there's a possibility here that a couple of key units get killed, and then Cheech's attack is blunted.
Yes, I would like to maybe see some Apaches or and maybe some F-15s around from Cheech's side here, trying to help this push out in the north. Some Apache of their own in the north here would that fly over the water could be quite helpful.
Now speak of the devil, the Eagles coming in.
Yeah, Eagles coming in, trying to hunt down Apaches and A-10s. A-10s getting massacred there. Though Phantom's coming in, but Eagle's better than Phantom as well. So one of them gets the kill there. One of them gets killed on the way out. The other one really low on missiles now, so has to disengage there, most likely. As the Phantom is starting to run low on missiles as well, only having one left as well. So I think the Eagle should be fine. Gets hit there one more time, but the Chaparrals take care of the Phantom. So a really good engagement there for Cheech. 2 Phantoms, 2 A-10s for 1 Eagle. That's a fair trade. And the Bradleys here against LAVs doing well as well. M1A1 now should be able to get into the zone and should start the tick here for Cheech. No CV around there for Proletary yet, so the +4 should be real, and that is 160 points per minute. That is more than enough for Cheech here to get the advantage, if that can get kept up. Obviously, a CV can be brought in relatively easily there though, so more zones should be attempted, or at least a stronger hold of Alpha in the long run, but it is finally some points here on the board for our player in blue.
Yeah, I think this now the F-16s here being able to there was a one pass, and now taking out the F-16 as well. The Eagles here really putting in the extra work that can actually crush this. I mean, logistics is obviously required here, and transporting the logistics is going to be pretty difficult with this endangered reinforcement route. But so far, Proletary doesn't have that many units that can aggressively push against this. They have a lot of defensive units, a lot of ATGMs, Humvee tows out there, but crossing this field with infantry is gonna be difficult, even against wounded Bradleys and wounded Abrams.
Yeah, we have F-15s coming in on both sides now. AA Forest takes care of it. F-15 on the way out. Of Cheech gets the kill as well. The one issue that the F-15's seats in 3rd US have is that they only have 2 sidewinders. So they aren't the best helicopter hunters, but they can kill off planes really well with their M120. And the Chaparrals here help out with the helicopters. 2 Apaches going down. The north is completely captured right now again though, so the M1A1 of Cheech needs to get back in there. The engineer leader here just sitting on the brink of the zone. Artillery should help with that. Yeah, and with the kill on the Apaches, a pivot to the south now might be possible. Like,
There is no AA up north. Two chaparrals peeked out. One of them got a hit, and one of them killed an Apache. But both of them were taken out by Humvee tows. There is no the closest AA is almost closer to Zulu than to Alpha. If this is now Sleepy Joe is going to send the F-16. The F-16 is going to find out that there's no AA out there. Do you think that maybe the Apache could actually go out there and start just getting free kills?
there is no Apache ATGMs though. And you can't.
Yeah,
The
but
rocket one. The rocket one's flying over Bradley's, and M1A1 with a 50 cal is not going to work out either. So I'm not sure how far you want to risk that. F-15s also might come around once more, as there is still really little ground AA here. So protecting those Apaches would be tough. The more important part is keeping a CV in here right now, and the M109s should work as hard as possible to try to stop that. We have the start of a setup of a push in the south as well now. M1A1 coming up with some the mortar, following up the snipers. We have fire teams and M67s in the south as well, so the push towards the southern capture points could start to be real as well. 9 minutes remaining, so Cheesh still has time, but a +2 would just barely not be enough here at this point, I believe. Yeah, it would just barely not be enough.
Yeah, but 9 minutes. 9 minutes left. Let's. I'm just gonna go do some counting.
Yeah, it needs a +3 to get the W. A +4 would be a really decisive victory. So it's not that much more that Cheesh needs here. Just one more zone. And CV that was rotated around here in the center got killed off. Bradley and snipers pushing towards the south. M109 starting to take out units here as well. The second one out of supply. Has an attack order to try to kill off the engineering, but didn't realize that it's out of supply. That is big. The other one is running low on supply as well. Tow 2 engaging M1A1, and the Bradleys in the north. Yeah, the Apache that you were talking about, it came in and it took out 2 Bradleys already. So that is a problem here. The Apache's only having rockets, so the M1A1 could deal decently with it. But the Chaparral not around here just yet. Tries to come around now. M1A1 moving out there again. And that will stop the take again, as the M1A1 had to be pulled out of the zone. It got fully resupplied, so it's not running out of fuel there at least. But it needs to get back in there relatively soon.
Yeah, when it comes to the M1 Abrams, it's the Humvee tows that I'm really worried about, because there's so many of them. If the Apaches can stay out there and work as a front line, you could position the Humvee tows to take out the Abrams. But now the Humvee tows, as long as there is the single fire team law, and now scouts, very importantly, getting in there, providing the recon, so that the Humvees can't just move freely around here in the zone. And Abrams, I think, Abrams getting positioned to start firing and taking other firing positions, and the Humvee tow smartly retreating fast.
Yeah, the M109 number 2 still not being reloaded here. It's still roaming the map on its own. M1A1 in the south got hit by the Tow 2 pretty hard. It got rescued at least. F-15 Eagles coming around in the north again, but we have an Avenger there. So protection for the Apaches is there. So the F-15s can't just fly in like in past times. And yeah, now not having the bombers is a bit painful. So there is no AA in the south. So an Apache could do a similar job here for Cheesh in the south. There's literally no AA. A single Apache or Cobra even could clean house completely here in the south right now. And that would be really, really big. The northern zone still contested. Airborne Dragons coming in. More airborne coming in through the forest though. And the infantry of Cheesh has been decimated. So that could work out quite nicely. One Humvee tow going down, but the Tow 2 might find the kill onto the M1A1. So Cheesh's position over there in trouble. Did we see some helicopters in the south? No, it's more M1A1s Yeah, supply helicopters for the M109s, but no attack helicopters here, whilst there's 0 AA here. This would be the perfect helicopter or bomber moment, but there's nothing here to exploit that for Cheesh. And Cheesh needs more capture points soon, especially as the northern one might fall back fully into the hands of Proletary here soon.
The Apaches get hurt by the double diving F-16s, but not getting any kills so far. The airborne squads, even with their Humvees, as walking through and pushing the Abrams back. The Humvee toes from the sidelines, taking pot shots against the Abrams and getting a side shot and getting the kill. Now this southern attack needs to work out for Cheech. That's the final hope for the last 5 minutes here. No ability to push north anymore.
Yeah, and for this push south, you need the helicopters. Where are the Apaches here? There, as I said, 0 AA here on the battlefield. There is a fast CV with a MUD that could go to X-ray even and get a really, really big capture on. And yeah, you need to use those 5 minutes now. So fast units should be the way to go anyways. Airmobiles and Apaches non-stop now to just run over this. You have enough tanks anyways. You have a decent amount of infantry. You just need to have fast units now, but there doesn't seem to be a single helicopter yet. And yeah, artillery not shooting either. The CV of Cheesh still not in there yet, so the capture hasn't happened yet, and it needs to be careful to not get shot by the TOW2s. Apache still pushing forward. Engineered Dragons getting in there. M1A1 getting hit. F-15s maybe should just go for strafing. F-16AT coming in. Oh, the Abrams is stunned. It gets the smoke off just in time. Eagle flying around. F-15 on the other side coming in as well. The M151 CV going for the rear zone. F-15 off. Proletary wins the airfight there. F-16AT got killed off though, so the M1A1 is living somewhat safe, but still no helicopter. It's an M1A1 CV in the north instead. I don't think there's any hope for that getting through. Yeah, this is a troublesome situation for Cheesh here.
Yeah, can I just say about the Oscar town fight? When there are two entrances to the west here, northwest and southwest, and generally people only attack the northwest entrance, as we saw this time. But if you do a dual attack with your infantry moving in from both resupply routes, that is way more efficient. That requires your enemy does way more micro, and even here, the southwest entrance is completely open. So any infantry units could have just gotten in there, and so the sacrifice of the rest of the troops wouldn't have been in vain.
Yeah, M109 still not firing here. We see more slow vehicles here moving in onto the battlefield. They will not even have much time to fire in the front line. Like in the last 3 minutes, you only shoot by planes and helicopters. And fast CVs. Like everything else doesn't reach the front line anyways anymore. So just by those quick units. And yeah, we see instead some CVs and an M1A1. They won't get into that zone here anytime soon. They might be here for the last couple of minutes. We have a good reaction here from Proletary as well, realizing that a sneaky CV into the rear might be the only way to lose the game. They already brought an engineer leader in here. Sheesh has spotted that. Still no Apache here on the battlefield to try to take advantage of that. We have a CV M1A1 now getting in here, but that's only a +1. That's way too little points. That's only 80 points within the next 2 minutes. And with that, it seems like, yeah, we get a +3 now with the southern one. Still too little points, only 120. We would need both zones to be captured. And even then, yeah, it would start to reach an issue right now. Yeah, not buying in helicopters and attack planes there in the last couple of minutes, the big issue. The attack planes were sacrificed earlier, but at least a second Cobra should be around here. Most likely some Apaches as well. And they could have absolutely dominated at this stage. So the investment here absolutely into the wrong units. Plus the silence of the artillery here being a mistake of Cheesh, but a really strong counterplay also. Holding without any heavy tanks against the M1A1s in the open here by Proletary throughout the game in the north. So really strong play by Proletary as well.
Yeah, do you think maybe Cheech just doesn't... Actually, Cheech is in the chat. Cheech, did you have any helicopters in this deck? Because it really seems like you didn't.
Yeah, Fireteam Law trying to come in the south. M1A1s here, trying to rotate around. Kev and M1A1s moving in here, but it doesn't work out. And yeah, Chish surrenders at this point, knowing that the points can't be reached anymore. And even though the KD in the end was advantageous here for our player in blue, this Proletary there with a strong early game and a really, really good holding game as well. Once more, holding without IFVs and without any heavy tanks against a division that has all of that for the second half there is a strong play and gets the W here in the end for Proletary, and with that also secures the slot in the semifinal. That is the wrong division. We are here. So yeah, 2-1 victory here for Proletary, moving on against Woe Is Me in the semifinals.
Yeah, and I believe Woe Is Me beat Scuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so very strong. Scuff being a top player, and Woe Is Me being able to beat them. Gonna be a very tough matchup. At least the top ladder player, I believe.
Yeah, really, really strong players here left in the semifinals in Division 2 as well. All of them will be moving on to Division 1 next season. Static, Medi, Woe Is Me, and Proletary. And all of them are good additions there, I think. So I'm really looking forward to how they will perform there. Chish, yeah, falling just a bit short here in that quarterfinals match. Couple of surprises here with, for example, Crispiest River falling short. Some people might know them as, or most people know him as Fortitude fans. And yeah, just good play there by Static. Really looking forward to all of that. And yeah, guys, we have a lot more WARNO coming tomorrow with the second semifinal of Division 1, Neff versus Yukipor. And the winner will play Berthags next Saturday, 3 p.m. CET next Saturday, tomorrow, 1 p.m. CEST, so same starting time as today for the second semifinals. So be around there for a really, really exciting match. Neff versus Yukipor should be an amazing one. Both of those players, great playstyles, great control, and either of them will be the opponent for Berthags here, the Dark Horse, making it into the grand finals. Absolutely excited for all of that coming. And yeah, the semifinals are best of 5. And it's a 3-0 clean win here. So yeah, semifinals. But the what we just watched was a quarterfinal. The last remaining quarterfinal of Division 2. So yeah, 2-1 victory there. And with that said, guys, any last words from you, Chlorite?
Nothing except that I have been living the amazing summer vacation life, which is the reason why I haven't been streaming. So even the people waiting for my streams to return, they will return. But frankly, if you had stuff going on, you also wouldn't stream. Like not you, but you know, viewers out here. You gotta live with the sun. The few moments in Finland when you have the sun, you know.
Yeah,
we don't get that too often.
And yeah. So yeah, enjoying summer is a good thing. That's what I'm gonna go on to do now as well. IRL, going for nice, chilled out night out with friends as well. Bit of board games and then maybe a bit of partying afterwards. So yeah, we'll leave you for that for tomorrow.
Yeah, hold on, Captain Cactus. Yes, this is true, but also, like, I got shit going on. Okay, I have a guy sleeping behind me right now. I gotta go and wake him up. Like, I have things. All right, and when I'm lonely and in the middle of my daily routine, I will start streaming again.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Till then, I will leave you to Cormaca TV here, guys, with some Fallout 4. Absolute big friend of the channel. Played some lovely WARNO with us before as well. And yeah, see you all next time, guys. Hope you have a great one.